It says we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello,
our
hello.
Sunday night live. Or it's not even night, it's afternoon. How's everyone doing? Come on in, come on in. Hi, Jen. Jen is here with me.
Hi, Dr. B.
How are you?
I
Just call
am
me Natasha for
good.
the love of God.
I like to keep it formal when we're live. It makes me feel professional. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck about
Oh,
that.
well, good. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Happy Easter. Happy
Happy
Easter to
Easter,
those who
everyone.
celebrate.
I
Yes.
hope the Easter Bunny was good to y'all.
Me too. I hope everyone's weekend is going well. It's pretty nice out here and where I'm at. It's warm outside. It feels like a real spring day. So I
Yeah, it's
figured
pretty here.
I figured what better day than today to dive into all the things that have been going on Watts Island. So, and there's a lot. Like I feel like we should just
Watts
get
Island's
started.
been lit. Well, let's just be honest. Let's just say what it is. Watts Island has been lit, and the natives on Watts Island are lit. Everybody's lit.
Yes, they sure are. Um, okay, so I kind of wanted to start out with the article and just kind of, you know, commenting as we go through it, I guess.
Sounds
Um,
good to me.
all right, so this is the Daily Mail article that was published last week, and the title is Chris Watts is still in touch with his mistress, who he killed his family to be with. The article says the mistress who Chris Watts murdered his family to be with is back in touch with him. 3 years after changing her identity and disappearing, the killer has claimed from jail. Watts said his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, who wrote him inside the Dodge Correctional Institution in Waupun, Wisconsin, under her new name, fellow inmate David Carter revealed in an exclusive interview with DailyMail.com. He told me she said that she needed to speak to him to clear some things up, Carter said. He wouldn't tell me exactly what she had said. Oh, that's a period. He wouldn't tell me exactly what she had said.
Period.
Period.
No question. That wasn't a
Oh,
question. Just so y'all know.
see, I put the thought of getting a coffee in my head, but I never did. So
Oh boy.
I was just gonna take a sip because I was gonna say I'm starting to fumble over my words too early. Okay. So Kessinger, 32, took on a new identity and moved from her home in Arvada, Colorado after Watts was arrested for
I
killing
think
his.
it's Aurora, babe.
Okay, let me just start all over again.
you better
Wusa.
you better hit that coffee again.
I need to go grab some coffee.
Yeah.
Let me make these bigger. Maybe I'm just blind. Hold on, let me
I
grab my
need to I need
glasses.
to take my Natasha, we've talked about this. Hun, you've got to wear your papers. If you're going to be reading for the class, you've got to wear your Come on, Jan Brady.
Well, hold on. It's going to make me feel more professional too. Oh, there we go. Now I feel like a professor.
Oh,
So,
good.
shall we, students? Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the Kessinger again. Kessinger, 32, took on a new identity and moved from her home in Arvada, Colorado,
Okay.
after Watts was arrested for killing his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their two daughters, Bella and Cece, in August of 2018. He's currently serving 5 life sentences plus 48 years in prison without the possibility of parole. This is Watson Kessinger, David with his letter. he looks like a, oh my God, this is going to be so bad. But, just free association. The first thing that popped to my mind when I saw this picture was, like those Time magazine covers of like when, I don't know, like this is going to sound bad, but concentration camp survivors where they're just like, I survived. So David just seems like just fragile in this picture. So I don't know, but
It would be
everybody.
better if he sung the Blues Clues song.
Yes.
We just got a letter.
We just got a letter.
Oh, Lord.
Wonder who it's from. Okay, let's listen to their little clip here. Can you hear it? Can y'all hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Of course not. Okay, well, we'll leave that for later then, because let's keep going.
Okay.
Watts told Pen Pal, Scribble in 2019 that he was still in love with Kessinger and believed that some of the letters he received in prison were from her writing under assumed names. Cadle went on to write a book about their correspondence called Letters from Christopher. Now, Carter has backed those claims that Kessinger does write to the man whose crime shocked the nation, or at least that Watts believes she does. Carter, who was released from Dodge on February 27th, said it was back in September last year that Watts, 35, told him Kessinger was writing to him. And Watts claimed that prison authorities discovered what was happening and punished him by suspending his email account, carefully monitoring all his mail. He wasn't supposed to have any contact with her, but she initiated it by writing to him. So pause. Time out. Okay. Let's talk. What did you get so far?
Well, let's see. Watts is still not taking accountability for anything because, here he goes. She wrote me first. And I thought he got in trouble for something else and had his privileges revoked that summer, not her.
Yeah. So this says that Watts claimed that prison authorities discovered what was happening and punished him by suspending his email account. That's not correct. And none of us are at Dodge, but not the funny thing, but one thing about the correctional system in the U.S. is that it's an institution. It's a government institution, and it then falls under the public's right to know what goes on within prison walls, and that's where the records requests come in. So you can request the records from Dodge to see Watts's behavior and whatever, like we have done in the past multiple times. And with those documents, you could request a history of his conduct. And the last most updated records request that we have seen from Dodge has only one conduct report in it. It has one disciplinary report in it, and that was for passing all the things to Dylan. But there was nothing about.
Do you have that? Should we post that so people can read it?
Oh, I have that. Yes, and he did get quote unquote charge for what do you call it? Unauthorized communication, I think, and he got his phone privileges revoked at that time, but that had nothing to do with any of this. So I think it's a little bit reckless to you know,
And the allegation is that she writes him physical letters, correct? Not emails. Is that what David is saying? Because that article's kind of
true. That's a good point. Yeah.
because if it's emails, of course, they would be able to check those far easier because he has to have you on his list, right? But
Hmm.
like letters, he can get letters from just any old buddy. But what I want to know is, let's say all of this is true. How would they know that it's her writing him? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And the other thing is, contrary to popular belief, but what's her face is Nicole Kessinger is allowed to talk to Chris. There's no one stopping her from talking to Chris. It's not illegal for him to talk to her.
Yeah.
Or you know, so I don't know why the article mentions also that the prison authorities discovered what was happening and punished him. If he's talking to Nicole Kessinger, there's nothing illegal about that. And
Yeah, because she's not a victim, right? She's not been ever designated as a victim. Correct?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly, yeah. So there's no there's no reason for him to get in trouble for talking to Nicole Kessinger. So that's debunked right there. So next, I'm still looking for the report, by the way, because
Oh,
y'all
okay.
know how slow I is.
Yeah, I'm a little draggy today too, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't have an actual like valid reason. I can't say like I spent all day cleaning the house or anything. Like I can't, or I worked out really. I don't have an actual valid reason. Just am. I don't have like a legitimate excuse for being tired.
Yeah. But yeah, Patricia Jackson says she was a witness by her own account. She was a witness to the case. I think that if this went to trial, she would have probably been one of the key. I mean, she would have been one of the key witnesses, let's be real. And,
Mm-hmm.
but what she did self-appoint was the victimhood, which
Yeah.
she's not a victim, like legal victim. You know, she might be a victim of many things, but she's at least not under the Colorado law a victim.
No, Gary, I didn't have too much chocolate. I will say this, like a couple of days ago, my husband bought me like a little bag of Twizzlers, and I ate that like it was my job. So that was like 2 days ago. And I had a whole shame spiral because I'm not supposed to be eating like that.
You know,
I'm trying to lose weight, and now yeah. But I wish I could say, yeah, that's why I have a chocolate hangover. No, there's no like real logical. That's not even see logical or legitimate reason for me to be this
logistical.
tired. Logical.
Sounds good. All right. So I'm just going to finish reading this and then we're going to get into the receipts because
Yeah. That's
this is
probably a
too
better idea.
distracting. So, okay. So, where was I? So, he wasn't supposed to have contact with her, but she initiated it by writing to him. Wisconsin Department of Corrections spokesman said he could comment on Carter's claims. I guess that means he could not comment, but it says he could.
But didn't.
Yeah, they didn't.
What the hell?
Yeah. John Beard didn't comment.
I see.
Just for clarification. Kessinger and Watts both worked for the oil company Anadarko and met at work. Watts told her that he was separated from his wife. When he eventually confessed to the murders, he told investigators it was because he wanted to be with her. Did he ever say that to them?
No. Not that I recall.
I think that's the motive that the district attorney assigned.
Yes, yeah.
This,
I don't think there was ever like a confirmed motive. You know, that's just the motive that the district attorney or the state of Colorado, that was their guess
Mhm.
at what the motive was.
Right.
Which I have to say, honestly, even if Watts had like gotten away with it, right? And I don't think that him and Kessinger would still be together today.
Yeah. I don't know. Depends. Depends. But let's see.
I
There
hear
was
Stella. Stella agrees with me.
Yeah, Stella's excited because my brother just got home to make a lot of noise. He usually
Aw.
does. Okay. There was never any suspicion that Kessinger knew that he intended to kill his family. What? What?
wait, wait, what?
Come again?
Get?
Am I reading this correctly? Because, I am foreign, so sometimes. There was never any suspicion that Kessinger knew that he intended to kill his family, but she was inundated with hate mail, despite believing their affair was just a harmless fling. She is still living in hiding more than 2.5 years after the murders.
More than, so what is she at the 2.375 mark?
I
More
think
than,
so.
oh my God. It's not like they wrote an article for Twitter where you're only allowed 150 characters. Come on, Daily Mail. You're better than this somewhat. Come on.
I want to know I want to know the source. Can you, oh God, can you be louder, please? Be louder. I only want to know why this says that there was never any suspicion that Kessinger knew that he intended to kill. Like, wouldn't
Right.
that be like knowledge um of a crime? You know what I mean? Like one of those things.
I
Having
mean,
knowledge of a crime?
what they can all that they can accurately say is, see, when you write the word never, that means she was never under any type of suspicion. And that's not true.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh God, see, yeah, I did read it wrong. God, I'm so. All right, let's
No,
keep going.
you read it right. It's just you're interpreting it wrong.
That's it.
They're saying that the cops or the investigators never suspected her of anything. And that's not true. They did, and then they seemingly, and I don't know because I'm not in their brains, have ruled her out or can't prove it. And so as of this time, she has not been charged. But that doesn't mean that never.
Right. All right. Yeah. Here's a
Never.
letter that David got. It was dated August. Boże. It was
Mm-hmm.
dated July 23rd of 2020 and sent from Christopher Watts to David in Brown County Jail. He sent Dylan a mental note saying, "You're not alone." This is from December. This doesn't look like Chris's writing, but who knows? So do not fear. It's a Bible quote. Carter, 34, said Watts told him that he killed Shanann because he didn't want to pay child support. He didn't want the son that she was expecting and feared his wife would take their house in Frederick, Colorado, in a divorce. I don't buy any of that, though, said Carter, who was jailed for meth possession and for stealing money from his employers, the restaurant chain Arby's. You forgot a tiny little third-degree sex offense, but
Right.
never mind. I couldn't ever kill my entire family just because I didn't want a child or didn't want to pay child support. I have a lot of things going on in my life, but I have never wanted to stop and kill my entire family because I wanted certain things to go my way. Watts killed his wife after she came home from a business trip to Arizona. He strangled her and then put her body and their two daughters in his truck and drove to isolated oil storage tanks owned by Anadarko. He buried Shanann in a shallow grave and then smothered his two daughters and placed their bodies inside the storage tanks. He told me he thought the oil would disintegrate the bodies, Carter told Daily Mail. For 2 days, Watts claimed that he had nothing to do with his family's disappearance and went on television to plead for them to come home. After his arrest, he initially claimed that Shanann had killed the girls after he had told her he wanted a separation, and then he strangled her in anger. At his trial, which there wasn't one, he pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty, which has since been abolished in Colorado. Carter, who is now living in a halfway house in Green Bay, Wisconsin, said that Watts keeps pictures of his 2 daughters pinned up in his cell. But there are no pictures of Shanann, he added. He told me he has nightmares every night, always the same, of his 2 girls standing in his cell playing catch. Watts was transferred to Dodge for his own safety after originally being incarcerated for his horrific crimes in Colorado. Since October, he has been sharing a cell with another child killer, MJ, who was sentenced to 40 years in 2015 for reckless homicide. He killed his girlfriend's 3-year-old son by dipping him in scalding hot water because he had soiled his pants.
Oh my
At trial, Johnson said little Hunter Wise's death was an accident, and he hadn't tested the temperature of the water. Hunter's injuries also showed he had been punched in the mouth and whipped.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
But here's what doesn't make sense. How would your kids playing give you nightmares? Don't you think that's weird for him to say that he has nightmares that they're playing? I mean, I don't know if Chris said that because that's what David is saying, but that's a weird way to describe. Maybe I would say if it were me, right, which it would never be me because I don't kill children, anybody else's or my own, but I just feel like that's a weird turn of phrase. I mean, it seems to me like if that's what was happening, he would be saying, I'm haunted, but I have nightmares of my kids playing catch. That's weird.
That is weird.
He's a weirdo.
Okay. Let's see. Their cell is about 6 feet by 8 feet, so it's not very big for 2 people, said Carter. But MJ and Chris get on real well, and they look out for each other. Chris sleeps on the bottom bunk, MJ on the top.
I told y'all he was a bottom.
Carter's cell. Carter's cell was just across the hall. I thought Carter's cell was not. Look, Carter, look.
Where was your cell exactly, Carter? Because you done changed the location of your cell a couple of times, Mr. Man. I thought his cell was Chris's old cell next to Dylan.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if Mr. Carter forgot that he talked to AD about all this stuff, but some of the stuff he's telling the Daily Mail isn't what he told our friend AD.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, and listen. Anyway, if I'm not mistaken, David was specifically asked about Kessinger, and he said no.
Exactly. That's exactly what I remember.
And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I believe that the story of that he gave to the Daily Mail came from him listening to the Wisconsin confession interview. I don't want to call it a confession because it's really not.
Yeah,
it's an interview.
And I think I also think that, well, I don't think, but David has also said, since the release of this article, David has also said on Armchair Detective's show that he, what the hell did I, what were we talking about?
I have what we're talking about how the story about Kessinger writing Watts under a different name came from his interview in Wisconsin, and then you were going to say something else that he said.
See,
you're welcome.
He
I
said
took a 5-hour, so now I'm awake.
It's the lack of coffee over here. Hi, David. David is here. Oh, hi, David.
Hi, David.
Shall we call him up?
I think he should. Yes, give him the link because we're very confused.
Yeah, you want to come up, David? Yeah, because here's the thing. I think that, well, he said on ADs that he listened to Lana's videos. So there's just a lot of confusion about who's who. And I'm sure David has no clue what the hell is going on. And he's just kind of like going with the flow. And yeah, so let's see if he's willing to come up to chat. It's a chill day.
We're nice girls, David.
Sometimes.
Mostly.
David says 2020, I was next to Dylan in Chris's old cell.
Okay. Well, this is good that you're here, David, because if they got the story wrong, then this is what people have as an example of what you said, right? So if they got the story wrong, then, good thing for you to clear it up.
Grave Dodger, 2018 was Watson, Wisconsin. Yes, he was there in December of he was transferred there December 2018. David said sure he wants to come up, so I'm gonna give him the link.
Okay.
And people in chat, just why do we even have to have this conversation? Please be respectful, WTF.
Nobody's condoning anything. Nobody's co-signing. But look, he put the article out there, and if he was misquoted, then he should have the opportunity to say where he was misquoted and correct misinformation, because that's a big part of the problem here on Watts Island is misinformation.
And nobody's talking to anybody.
Exactly.
And clearing it up. It's all just... he said, she
go
said.
live and go live and say so-and-so is a liar, this, that, and the other. I'd rather hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Exactly. Oh, why would I do that?
I don't know why you do any of the things that you do, babe.
I don't know.
You're the psychologist here. Could you maybe...
I've pinned the
why are you asking me?
I've pinned the comment. The link for David. So David, whenever you're ready, just please make sure that you have earbuds and all that good stuff.
And close your YouTube so there's not a
echo. So, okay, but...
because I don't want to hear my voice twice. It's too much for me. I don't even like hearing my voice once.
Oh, I hear a beep. Hi, David.
Hi.
Hey, David.
How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Do you have headphones, David?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Thank you. All right. Well, this is exciting.
Mm-hmm. Let's just get it all on the table.
Everything. So screw the article for now.
We're just going to push pause.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hi, David. Yes, we can hear you. How are you doing today?
You good? How are y'all?
Pretty good.
All right, so we were just going through the article that was out in the Daily Mail, and so far we read a couple of things that you told them. So could you just clarify exactly what Chris told you and what in this article is true versus not, I guess?
So a lot of the article they did fabricate. Some of it is true. I didn't say that Chris specifically told me that Nikki was writing him. I believe I said that it was rumored that she might have been the one to write. Because
Okay.
that's what Dylan had told me. As far as the South situation back in 2018, I was across the hall from Chris whenever he first arrived in 2018. The second time I went there, I was next to Dylan and Chris Watts' hotel.
Okay, so you went there twice. And the first time you were there, you were across the hall from Chris, and this is while he was still in the assessment part.
Yeah, so I've been to Dodge 3 times. They usually keep you there for about 3 or 4 months, depending on where they're going to send you to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, if possible, I'd like to go ahead and put this out there. I don't really appreciate the trolls commenting on my videos, sending me viruses to my phone, and hacking into my phone.
Oh, so you've met the Watts Island trolls.
Whoever put 2 viruses or sent 2 links to my phone last night, yeah, they put viruses on my phone and hacked into my phone.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you about that, but talking about this case in particular on the internet or anywhere is going to get you a lot of that kind of attention, unfortunately. So you're not alone. I know you've made friends with Armchair Detective, so I'm sure that he can give you some tips because he's been dealing with that for a long time. But as far as the article, I would like to know, did Chris Watts ever tell you that he is in contact with Nicole Kessinger?
He didn't specifically tell me no, but that's what Dylan told me, and I'm sure that he would tell Dylan about it if he was in contact with him, or if
Have
she
you
was in contact
ever
with him.
have you ever spent time with Chris Watts one-on-one, or um, was this always across the hallway communicating and through walls and stuff like that?
No, we used to go to the gym and the law library, and we used to go outside and work, or not work out, but play basketball.
Okay.
So it's not very hard to see that I was actually at Dodge whenever he was there, and I'm sure that they have actual records of what unit I was on
Well,
when he was there.
that's not the issue. I mean, it's we've confirmed your identity, and we have confirmed that you were at Dodge during the times that you say you were at Dodge. So I don't have any issues with that. Jen, do you? Like, I mean, as
Mm-mm.
far as David's identity, I'm pretty sure that everyone's kind of
Yeah, I don't think the
on the
issue
same boat
ever
with that.
is that nobody, well, I can't say nobody, but I think for the most part, people accept that you were there with Watts during the specific times that you said you were with Watts. I think where the issue lies or the questions are is because the Daily Mail article seems to have either completely fabricated what you said to them, twisted what you said to them, or in some instances, exaggerated what you said to them.
I
Because
would
if
say
you're
that they
telling,
pretty much
go
exaggerated
ahead.
a lot of it. They exaggerated a lot of it.
Okay. Because what you're saying is to me, which I would assume that this is what you told Daily Mail, is that your knowledge of Kessinger potentially writing Chris didn't come from Chris, it came from Dylan. And I
Right.
feel like, why didn't they just say that? Like, I mean, why? I mean, obviously, this is a rhetorical question. You don't know why they didn't write that, but that's my point. You see what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
so people who are reading the article, taking it at face value, are going to be like, wait, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
I was next to Dylan whenever him and Chris got in that situation with everything that they found in Dylan's cell. So
So,
once they
David, let
move
me ask
Chris
you
Watts off
this.
the unit,
Let me ask you
okay.
this, David. So you've met Dylan, obviously, and you've talked to Dylan, and you've seen his interactions with Chris Watts, and you say that they call each other brother. So you would say that they have some sort of like a bromance going on, him and Dylan, right?
Right.
But as far as Dylan, how would you describe him? Do you think Dylan's genuine in his friendship with Chris, or do you think Dylan is kind of just hitting a lick, for lack of a better word?
I don't really think that he's friends with anybody. I think that everything that he does, he only wants to benefit himself. If it's not going to help him,
This is
if
Dylan, right?
yeah, if he's
Okay.
not gonna, if he's not going to benefit out of it, I don't see him doing anything or taking on anything. So I think that it was just because he knows how big a situation Chris is, and he knows that if he's
That he could
situating,
profit from it.
yeah, if he's situating himself with Chris, he knows that he's going to benefit some way for it. So I don't really see him doing anything just because he wants to in his heart. I do want to tell you all though that I'm not getting paid for none of this. I wish people would quit saying that I am getting paid for it. That's not the case. I haven't asked for nothing. I'm not asking you all for anything. I'm not asking anybody else for anything. So I'm just
well,
doing this
that's good
because
because we're pretty broke.
I just read one of your comments a couple minutes ago. Said I got $700 from Daily Mail. Whoever Brent is incorrect because I haven't asked for no money. So
Yeah.
that's not the case.
Well, we don't get into those things. I really don't care, even if you did. I mean,
Right.
whatever floats your boat. I really don't care about that. What's important to us on this channel is accurate information. And that's the only thing that I do care about. So and some of this articles and all this stuff that's coming out on mainstream media, is a lot of it is hearsay, and people make up their minds based on other people's truths or half truths and exaggerations, and and that's where you get all this drama, is because everybody has their 2 cents to put into it. But that gets us away from the case. So I really don't care, David, if you got paid or if people offer you stuff like, hey, by all means do what you need to do, whatever. But when it comes to exploiting this and doing it in a malicious way, then that's where I draw the line. And so a lot of the stuff that Chris has done inside of Dodge with Dylan has negatively impacted Chris's family out here.
Right.
Correct. He's been
And
exploitative. Chris Watts has, from inside, has been exploitative of his situation. And
yes,
that's just the truth.
so I don't care. I wouldn't expect any different. I wouldn't expect any different than for people who are inclined to, crimes and steal and whatever the hell, scam, fraud. Like, of course they're going to be attracted to this because, hey, I mean, look at this. It's a shit show because everybody is given equal weight in terms of their information. I think that's bullshit.
Correct. So a lot of people want to know, David, did you
Yes.
contact the Daily Mail or did Daily Mail contact you? Can you explain how the article came about, please, for the people in chat that are asking?
Yeah. So they actually did not see my story on Armchair Detective. I will confirm that I was the one that contacted them. So I reached out to the Daily Mail.
Okay.
Wait, what? What was that? I didn't get that.
They did not see my article on Armchair Detective. I actually reached out to the Daily Mail, and then they contacted me.
Okay. So you contacted Daily Mail.
Yeah, they didn't contact me.
And why did you contact them?
because I knew that they probably wanted to hear some of that stuff. So
So you basically wanted to put the stuff out there.
yeah, that I knew, and the stories or the conversations I had with Chris.
And were you hoping to like get something from that? Like, what were you hoping to gain from that?
Well, I don't expect to gain anything from anything. I think that if I knew what was going to happen, that I probably wouldn't have done any of it. I would just kept the information to myself.
What did you think would happen?
Well, I didn't think it was going to blow up like this. It's affecting my family, my lives, or my life. So if I
Yeah, I
could go
mean,
back,
didn't you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
if I could go back, I would definitely go back and redo all of it.
Yeah.
You was gonna ask me something, didn't I? What?
Yeah, didn't you get rearrested like the same day that you went on Armchair Detective?
Yeah. So actually, I did the interviews on Armchair Detective on Saturday and Sunday. Monday, I contacted my PO, and she said that she didn't have no problem me going on the shows. Somebody contacted her, said that I was trying to scam people out of money, and that I wasn't supposed to be on the social media platforms or YouTube. So I got arrested for apparently trying to scam people out of money, and they took my statement and they talked to some of Armchair Detectives mods, and they verified that I wasn't trying to get money out of people.
Okay.
So they
And so
arrested you before they had proof that you had done
Yeah,
that? You see what I'm saying? Like they just took somebody's
they put him on a
word
hold, probably.
on the, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like, why would they just be so quick?
That's Wisconsin for you. Wisconsin has a lot. I think Wisconsin's one of the states that has the most people on probation who are incarcerated, if that makes sense. Like the most probation violations because they will take you in for any minor offense.
Okay.
And this is a general statement. Obviously, not all of probation officers are like that, but for the most part, like Wisconsin is known for that. There was quite a lot of coverage about that a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so they took you in until they further investigate, right, David?
yeah. So I got arrested on Monday. They took my statement on Tuesday, and a couple hours later, I got released.
Oh, okay.
And then this past Friday, when everything came out, a couple people actually contacted my PO again and said that they wasn't happy about it, and that they didn't like the fact that I was on all over the internet. And so I talked to her about that. She said she was concerned for my safety and told me to be very careful and to be aware of my surroundings. A couple hours later, she called me back and she said that somebody said that they had receipts for money that I had been accepting. And she asked me about it. And then she's like, well, I need to know where you're getting your money at. And I basically told her that I was getting SSI. That's where my money came from.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like personal, so we don't really want to go
Yeah,
into that
that's
too
not our
much.
business. Yeah.
So
Right. So that's what I'm dealing with now. That's what happened on Friday.
yeah, well, look, that's what I was wondering. I mean, did you reach out to Daily Mail, or if they reached out to you? Because yeah, like this is gonna get you a lot of attention, David, and people are going to start contacting people, and it is what it is. That's this case for you. But what made you choose the Daily Mail?
I think I was looking at different news stations and outlets. I seen that they had a lot of bad reviews, but I didn't see that until after I did an interview with them. I did an interview with them the Friday before last, so and it got released a couple days ago.
Did anyone like suggest the Daily Mail to you, or you just picked any random news, or do you actually read the Daily Mail? Like it's just interesting that you picked that specific outlet.
I seen that they had like a 2.2 million views per day or something like that, and they had a lot of viewers.
Okay, so you
I
went
didn't,
by that.
yeah. I didn't see the. I didn't actually. I had somebody else looking into their reviews and stuff, but I didn't see the actual reviews until after I did it.
Yeah, because the Daily Mail, I don't know, isn't the Daily Mail a British?
It's a British tabloid or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
not known for, I guess they're more known for the more salacious the story, scandalous the story is. That's kind of what they print. It's
So
it's gossipy.
I'm gonna play the video that comes with the article, David. So if you don't mind just hanging on, we can watch this together and yeah, let's just see what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 1 second.
And just while we're waiting, David, it's never a good idea to click links sent to you through Messenger. That's just like Internet 101. So you never want to do
Yeah,
that. If you don't know the
yeah,
person, don't click their link
yeah. I was
that
on
they
their.
send you.
On to a
I was on the
dailymail.com. This
my
was revealed.
Oh shit.
Moving on to a
Sorry. Go ahead,
YouTube
David.
channel. It was on my YouTube channel. So
Never do that either.
dailymail.com exclusive.
The mistress of Colorado killer Chris Watts is apparently back in touch with him 3 years after she last spoke publicly. This was revealed exclusively by David Carter, a friend of Watts and fellow inmate.
she reached out to him and contacted him and said that she needed to talk to him. And they found the letter and they found out that it came from Nicole Kessinger instead of someone else.
So how did they edit this?
I don't know. It was a very, very long interview. So there was a lot of. We talked a lot about a lot of things. We talked about MJ, talked about Dylan.
Okay.
Kella Brantley joins us
So
now
it
with more
wasn't
on this
just about that.
exclusive story. Kella, what more have you learned?
So Thomas, David Carter says that Chris Watts wasn't supposed to have any contact with Kessinger, but she's the one who initiated it using her new identity. Watts also told Carter that he did murder his pregnant wife, Shanann, and 2 daughters because he didn't want to pay child support and instead wanted to be with Nicole Kessinger, who he calls Nikki. We also asked Carter about the allegations that Watts and fellow male inmate Dylan Tallman were in a relationship, which Tallman's girlfriend had previously denied.
They were indeed lovers. They had an intimate relationship together. They always talked to each other. They spent 16 hours a day on the wall talking to each other.
Carter says that despite never showing any remorse for the murders, Chris has turned to religion, signing letters in Christ, Chris.
Thanks, Kella, and
Yeah. So what about that? The 16-hour wall conversation.
So yeah, there was always so their walls is together, or their outlets are together, and like there's an outlet. So if you talk through the outlet, you can hear each other pretty good. So they, according to Dylan, they spent 16 hours a day talking to each other and talking about the appeal. And I don't really know what they talked about because I obviously wasn't around for that, but I just know that they spent a lot of time talking.
Has Chris Watts ever told you what happened that night?
And he said that whenever Shanann came back from her business trip, they got in an argument, and she said that he would never see his kids again, and he flipped out and strangled her, smothered her, and then he did the same thing to his daughters.
Did he say why? Did he say why he did that to his daughters?
Yeah, I was under the impression that he did it because he didn't want to pay child support. She said that he would never see his kids again, and that she was going to take the house. And then I'm sure part of it had to do with Nicole Kessinger as well.
Yeah, but why did he kill the kids?
Because he didn't want
Did
to
he
pay the
say
child support.
anything about that?
He wanted to start a new life and not have to worry about it. But
Did he tell you
it's
that?
kind of sad. Yeah, he told me that whenever it was in 2000. I met him for the first time in December 2018, and I didn't really talk to him about it until he got to know me a little bit better. He didn't really talk to too many people when he first came to the unit.
And he told you specifically that he killed the kids because he didn't want to pay child support and wanted to start a fresh life with Nicole Kessinger.
Yeah.
And you said he told you this. How can you give me like a time frame?
Of when he
So
told me.
you were there in 2018, but you said that he didn't really talk a lot in the beginning. So when would he have told you this approximately?
In the early part of 2019, after we spent a lot of time together and started talking about his case, because everybody knew who he was.
Well, David, how did this conversation come up? Like, can you give us more of a context? Like, what were you guys talking about that led into the conversation? Or are you saying that you guys were just kicking it in the yard one day and you just straight out asked him?
We
You know
we
what I
didn't really
mean?
go to the yard. Yeah,
Well,
we
you know
didn't
what I
really go
mean.
to. We spent a lot of time inside, but once he got to know me a little bit better and see that I wasn't going to judge him for who he was, because I can't, then I asked him what was going through his head at that time and why he did what he did, and that's what he told me.
Okay.
That he did that to his family. So I see that there's a lot of comments for me in your chat. If y'all are wanting to, then I can answer some of them. If y'all want to read those or let me read them, I don't know if y'all want to.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about chat. We're kind of picking out questions and going with the flow because there's just so much, and I just want to make sure that we're kind of like keeping on topic, because I do want to explore these things a little bit further, because you're saying that you have some of these answers that people have been seeking for a long time. So I want to make sure that there's no misunderstanding anywhere. So early 2019, and you said that he kind of started trusting you when he saw that you wouldn't judge him.
Right. And then that's when he started talking about what happened, and he didn't really feel comfortable talking about it, but I wouldn't either. But as time went on, then he was able to trust me a little bit more.
Okay. And so early 2019, just for context for us Islanders, early 2019 obviously is when the second interview happened. So that happened in February. David, would you remember if it was after he was interviewed by the FBI or before that he confessed to you?
I'm pretty sure it was before, but I don't really know when they came to re-interview him. So I want to say
How long
before.
did you stay in Dodge in 2018?
I was that was whenever I had my heart infection and I was needing treatment, so I stayed there a little bit longer.
I don't know when that
Probably
was,
that
David.
time. Probably that time, like 5 months, probably at that point.
All right. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and look that up in here in your movements. 2018. Let's see here. So you went into Brown County Jail in
It's gonna be.
October of 2018, right? And then
Was that from Dodge?
yeah, and then you were transferred to Racine
Um,
in January,
Fe-
right?
Fe- was it?
February.
Yeah, it might have been. It was
No,
February,
it was
January, February. I think it was.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm looking at the
Was it?
on the website here. So it says you were transferred on January 3rd, 2019. You were transferred to Racine. Okay, so January 3rd, you were gone. So he would have told you this before he spoke with FBI. I think that's interesting. Jen, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it is interesting because have you heard his interview with them from Wisconsin, David? Have you watched that on YouTube?
No,
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
What have you watched? Like what did
I
you
haven't really
watch or
watched.
see or heard or read about this case? Like what do you know about the case that like what have you done to research the case is my question. There you go. Because I heard you say that you did watch Lana, so you did some research.
I haven't really think bad or something. And I seen one video that she made.
Okay.
I seen the movie that came out about him in 2020 or whenever it came out.
The movie or the
That's the only
Netflix?
the movie on Lifetime.
Okay. So
I
you
haven't
left in
seen that.
January. Oh, God. Sorry.
I I haven't seen the shows on.
You were breaking up there for a little bit.
I haven't seen the shows on Netflix though.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you left for Racine Correctional Institution in January, and then you came back to Dodge in September of 2020.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So then the second time around, you were placed in Chris's old cell, right?
Correct. Yes.
And September, when you came back to Dodge in September, did you see Chris on your second time around? Did you see him at all? Did you have any interactions with him?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple of times. I didn't really see him that much. He was working in the
And
kitchen.
okay, so did you have any conversations with him your second time around?
It was very limited because he obviously got moved off the unit because of him and Dylan. I got to see him in the library a couple of times when he was going to the law library. And I was doing some research and law stuff myself, so I seen him in the law library.
Okay. And has he told you anything related to the case in 2020?
He hasn't told me anything about the case. Everything that I really found out about the case I got from Dylan, because him and Chris were so close together and they talked all the time.
Right.
Did you see Dylan and Chris be close? Or is Dylan telling you that they're close?
I actually seen some of the letters that Dylan got from Chris and some of the work that they was doing together.
I see.
So I know that
But
they
if
were very close. I haven't seen them together, so no, I haven't seen
okay,
it personally.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay,
And what
cool.
was in those letters that you read that makes you feel that they were close? Now, I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm just asking. I just want to know what your opinion, because you've seen their letters. I haven't. So,
Right.
you know what I mean?
So they would say, like, they would go to church all the time. They would always work out together. Dylan would write him 5 or 6 page letters. Chris would always write back as many. And they were always on the wall talking together whenever they was locked in the room.
Well, what I'm asking is, what specifically was written in those letters? If you read them,
I didn't
what
read
did
them,
they
but
write to each other about? Oh, okay.
I didn't read them all, but I know that whenever I spoke to Dylan, he showed me a bunch of mail that he got from Chris.
So did he let you read any letters or no letters?
I got to read some. He didn't let me read them all. I know that
Okay.
Chris wrote him and told him that it sucks not being able to order canteen, and he's glad that MJ is looking out
Okay.
for him so that way he don't starve at nighttime. Has been in contact. She sent him cards a lot, and he calls her on the phone occasionally.
Okay.
Hi, SA. I'm also trying to pick out some stuff in chat here too. And Francesca seems to think that I was a little tough on you, David. Let me know if you don't have to answer any questions that you don't want to. I guess I should have said that at the beginning, but yeah, don't feel like pressured. And I'm not trying to be mean. If I if I sound stern, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of things. I don't like vagueness.
And
So
we don't
So
want to.
what we're
We
doing
don't want
that
to put words in your
our-
mouth. That's the thing. I just want to say that we're not trying to put words in your mouth. We want. I think the way the questions are being phrased is so that you give the answer. It's your narrative, not mine,
yeah.
or not Natasha's. It's yours, and because that's important.
right.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Francesca, for clarifying. What were you
So
going to
I'll
say,
just
David?
I'll just answer one of your viewers real quick. I would say me and Heather do communicate a lot. We do talk a lot.
Oh, Lord.
Right. We're actually working on something right now, so we're waiting on to figure that out. So
Who's Heather?
I do have communication with Heather. Heather Blair. Somebody said that they heard on another channel I was friends with Heather.
When did you become friends with Heather, David? If you don't mind, and you don't have to answer this. You're not on the stand, or you're not in court. I just want you to know that, because people tell me all the time. My own husband tells me all the time, stop grilling me like I'm across from you in the interrogation room. I don't mean to. Just I'm trying to get it.
David,
Yeah.
raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear?
This isn't a deposition. I just want the question, like, I don't know. I'm just trying to be clear without putting words in your mouth, or you know what I mean? Because
Right.
I think there's been a lot of people have been implying things and inferring things, and I just rather hear it. It's your story, straight from the horse's mouth. So, when did you be right?
Don't
So,
lead,
yeah,
Jen.
I'm not leading you. This ain't cross.
Well,
So,
in a minute, I'm gonna have to take off these earbuds and put you on my charger because my phone's going dead. But we can continue.
okay.
I didn't become friends with Heather until I didn't actually have any contact with Heather until I got out, and I was talking to Chrissy because I had her phone number
Oh,
and
you were talking with all the
stuff,
people.
so I was in communication.
You're breaking up real bad, David.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to her, gave me her contact information, told me that Heather wanted me to reach out to her, so I contacted Heather myself.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, people obviously are going to start reaching out. Okay. Were there any other questions? Well, I didn't finish reading the article, but I'm just still trying to process. Because, okay, so Jen, this is just for us now, the conversation. This is not for you, a question for you, David, but just kind of processing with everyone. So let's say that Chris did confess to David in January 2019, before David left. That would kind of make sense with the timeline in terms of Cadel reaching out to him and him agreeing to do this book with Cadel, where he then basically told the same story to Cadel and to his parents, and then later went on to retract that. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because there's like too many people in
I
this
try to answer.
in this pot. Go ahead.
So yeah, I try my best to do what I can with the questions that I'm given. Because of my condition, I'm not always able to. So,
What does that mean?
but whenever I had the strokes, I had brain damage, so it's not easy for me to be able to exactly remember everything, be pinpoint on everything that I'm asked. So.
Yeah. Well, I think you've been doing a pretty good job.
So I see that there's some issues with the letter, and some people wanted to know exactly what was in the letter I got. I don't know if y'all have been able to get that, or if y'all was
No.
Yeah,
able
I mean,
to look
Chris's letters are pretty much all the same. I mean, it just talks about religious stuff, and so I'm done with Chris's letters. But if anyone else wants to see them, go ahead, David. If you want to show your letters, that's fine. But
Yeah, I mean, they're all the same anyways, but I know that he was talking about pretty much talking about women not being any good or something. So he didn't
yeah,
really
well,
have,
it's not like he's a winner, so
yeah.
Well,
know.
I mean, women are not any good. Okay. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, I do. I have a lot I could say to that, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna behave because it's Easter.
Oh, David,
I would say
oh,
that's not to come on any channel, so I would probably take it how y'all want, but it is
wait,
Easter, so I
I
decided
didn't,
to
I didn't understand
yeah.
what you
So
said.
I was asked by some people not to come on any channels, so um, I decided to come on the channel anyways.
Oh,
Well,
well, that
I like
sounds.
your I do what I want attitude, David. That's kind of how I live my life.
I
I
do
hope the.
well, so I just
Hey,
everybody,
David.
yeah.
I hope the people that told you not to go on any lives were not your parole officers, because I wouldn't want.
Well, right. Okay. Let me clarify. Okay. If the law told you not to do it, don't do it.
Don't do
But
it.
if some regular Joe Schmo that has zero control over you tells you not to do something, I'm sure it depends. I don't know who said it or what channels they told you to stay away from. So I can't say whether they had good motives or bad motives. But I think that you'll find out for yourself, as we all have over time. You have
Well,
to
it
figure it
definitely
out.
was not. It was not my parole officer. My parole officer actually said that I have a freedom of speech and I can do what I want. So
Well,
that's what I'm doing.
within, yeah,
Well, within reason, as long as
within
it's not
reason.
Yeah. Like
violating
you
any law.
have you have the freedom to say what you want, but not without repercussions. Like you can't
Yeah.
yell fire in a movie theater. That, yes, you have the freedom of speech to say that, but you will be in trouble if you do. So, and you're not barred with your original the initial charge. You're not prohibited from being on the internet in any way.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It was so long ago, and I'm not really gonna get into it because some of the viewers don't even believe it. But it was a misdemeanor, so
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
I don't want to get into your,
Yeah. We don't
because
need your rap sheet.
no, and that's, I mean, we do for credibility, and we have looked at it, and it's up to each individual to take your story how they want, whether or not they want to believe it. It's not your job to convince people, to tell people what to believe, what not to believe. You're telling your side of the story, and it's up to the reader, the listener, the viewer to decide what is true and what isn't. So the point of me also asking some of these questions is just for myself too, because some of the things that you say do sound credible and do sound like they would be true, but then there are other things that are a little bit more vague and unclear to me. So that was just what I was trying to clarify, and I think you did a great job with that, because just clarifying the timeline for me helped with figuring some of that out. So,
And for those of you that are just joining us, Dr. B and I did not reach out to David in any way, shape, or form. There was no email, no text, no private message on Facebook, no hitting him up on his channel. Nobody slid into anybody's DMs. We didn't send smoke signals. There were no carrier pigeons, no telepathy, none of that. He came on the channel and he was in chat, and we asked him if he wanted to speak. Just putting that out there.
He was commenting in chat. Yeah. So it's like, you want to come up, because chat is chat, and we don't catch everything always. So yeah. Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, I heard you also saying that you sounded kind of convinced that Dylan and Chris are in a relationship. What made you so confident in your statement?
So there was a lot of things that they found in Dylan's cell. They got a conduct report for it. I talked to the person that did an entry report, and she said that they had enough evidence to determine that they were both involved in the relationship. She didn't really tell me much about it, but she did say that they was involved in a relationship, and that could only mean that it's possible that they were caught in the same cell together. I actually filed a sexual harassment claim against Dylan, so I know that he, in some way, has tendencies to harass or even abuse men because he was harassing me through the wall.
Yeah. Well,
But to be clear, David, you never saw anything with your own eyes. Just to
No,
be
I
clear.
didn't.
Okay.
That's-
All right.
But I know that they did get they found the lube and the boxers and stuff in the room, and the CO that did
well,
her.
we have that conduct report actually.
Yeah, it was Sarah Hilscher's the one that did a complaint or the incident report on it. So
Here, I'll share that with us. Let me just pull it up. Why is it so loud everywhere I go?
I don't know.
All right, it should be better now. Here come the receipts. All right. Go ahead, Jen.
So this is obviously you are not a correctional officer.
yeah, it
But
says Sergeant Hilscher.
to be fair, David, you've been in a few jails and prisons, correct?
Yeah, I've been to prison 5 times.
Okay. Is it common for them to find the I guess it's not really contraband, but Chris's items in Dylan's cell or dorm or whatever it's called, and them not? What I'm asking you is, do they normally not charge them? I mean, I know that them having an intimate relationship is a violation of prison rules, correct?
Right. Yes, that's
So
correct.
do they normally find not contraband, but find other people's belongings in other, in different cells, and then not charge them with
So there's
a different crime?
I guess there's different rules for different things. They
Okay.
can charge you. They can charge you for whatever they want. They don't always have to charge you. But if you're found in possession of somebody else's belongings, it's likely you're going to get unauthorized transfer of property because everything is accounted for and you're supposed to have receipts for everything. So if you don't have a receipt for that item, then you're not supposed to have it. Or if you don't have a proper
Right.
receipt for
Okay.
Here's the other thing about Dylan that was concerning to me. I mean, we called it right away. We did a whole show on this back then with our lovely Caffeine Q and Tanya Hagen. We talked about Dylan's background and his history, and Dylan is very litigious, so he has a lot of lawsuits he's basically suing everybody. So
Yes,
that kind of gave us like an idea of who we're dealing with, and it wasn't difficult to surmise that Dylan's motives might not be the clearest or the purest. But the other thing that was concerning for me was Chrissy, because she got pulled into this relationship with Dylan, quote unquote, and call it naivety or whatever. For my experience of Chrissy has been, she's always been nice to me and always never did anything bad to me. So naturally, my initial feeling was, oh, girl, run. Don't do that. Don't do that, girl. Don't do that, But I guess, people have to learn for themselves and go through their own trials and tribulations, I guess. So I just hope that Chrissy's okay now, and that that this was a lesson for her, a lesson learned for her, and that, she takes care of herself, I guess. But yeah, Dylan's just bad news.
I guess she just had a death in her family or something, so she's trying to get through that. And she said that he had been harassing her and threatening her, and he's doing a lot of things.
Yeah. Dylan is dangerous.
She actually changed her phone number, but not so she don't have that number anymore. So she's trying to move on from him.
And that's another thing that I think, Chris is doing without realizing it. So while he's over at Dodge playing, camp counselor to all the other inmates over there, and passing out letters, whatever, like he's putting other people in danger. And I guess, writing a murder in prison isn't really, just your regular old hobby that you pick up. So people who write these people, like in the first place, need to evaluate their own motives. But for Chris to then, just pass it out for noodles and honey buns, like,
right. It's a little disconcerting that women are writing to Chris in prison, and he goes through the mail and decides who he's going to speak to and who he's not going to speak to. And then he puts it all in a pile, and he's, the Yenta of the prison pen pal system. Like, that's messed up.
That's very messed up, but he does get a lot of mail. I don't really know how much mail he gets. I know that he passed his letter from Chrissy off to Dylan, and I don't know if that was good.
Well, no, it wasn't good.
No, because look what Dylan did to her. I mean, he's forget the fact that he's in prison, right? Like, obviously he's committed a crime or 20, and that's why he is where he is, right? But then his behavior while he's been in prison he's a continued menace.
Right.
I just think it's disgusting how, and I hope that people really listen to this part, because you women that are writing him, he doesn't give a rat's fat kneecap who he exposes you to. So really be aware of the type of person that you're dealing with, because that's who you're dealing with. He's not this nice guy that he tries to tell everybody that he is. Nice guys don't do stuff like that.
Yeah. And also, I know David has been getting a lot of negative feedback, and so has AD, actually, for having David on his channel because of David's past crimes and actually what he was convicted for. And I just want to remind people, like, that kind of threw me back because, David came forward as someone who was incarcerated with Chris at one point. So he's coming out of prison, y'all. He's not coming from a youth camp. Like, he's coming from prison. So he's not going to have, you're not going to get interviews with people who have done time with Chris, who've just been, whatever, like, because I feel like when you do, well, let me just shut up. But yeah, so people are going to have criminal records, but that's what I'm saying. Like, asking, thank you, David, again, for allowing me to ask questions, because those are some things that I needed to clear up in my mind, because, you can't just like believe everything you hear and read. So,
well, correct.
I don't know. I just rambled forever, but it's Sunday, so we get to ramble.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the conduct report for, okay, so that's that. Now, I also heard you talking about someone wanting to marry Chris or something like that, and some money.
Yeah, so apparently it was
I don't know what that was about.
apparently Lana. She was in contact with Chris, and they were supposed to get married.
Well, who
And
told
all
you
this
that?
is coming from Dylan,
Oh, okay. Well,
coming from Chris himself. So, but he said that he was able to stop it, and Ronnie was going to send $2,500. And what Dylan told me is that Alana or something wanted to try to get her boyfriend out of jail from a different state whenever they found out about it.
Okay, can I ask you something, Dylan, about that?
Yeah,
This is
David.
this is the one or David, sorry. Sunday, cut me some slack. I'm sorry. We were talking about never mind. Anyways, you were there, you know what happened. How did, if he told you, how did Dylan figure out that the real intention was to get a boyfriend or husband out of prison? How did how did Dylan figure that out? Did he ever tell you that?
They said that he was putting the pieces together, and this woman never met him, and she said she was in love with him and wanted to marry him, and that she needed help for a nonprofit organization and to try to get a lawyer for him so he can do his 35C.
oh, Dylan.
So Dylan is the CIA of Dodge with no internet access, no direct contact with this woman, but he was able to put the pieces together. I say, okay. Because I just was curious about that because, like I said, he doesn't have access to, it's not like he can get on the internet and Google. He can't get on, he can't search people on Facebook. So I'm just curious how he put the, pieces together.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting when and if eventually Dylan does get out of prison. I mean, David, your experience after going on Armchair Detective and doing this interview with the Daily Mail hasn't been so pleasant. I mean, you said you've been hacked and harassed and stalked, and your role in this is, you had a couple of interactions with Chris and Dylan. But Dylan, he's like the messiah of all the things Watts in Dodge. So
yeah,
when he
he's the
gets
vault.
out, he's gonna get, I don't know. I hope not. I don't like trolling. I think it's disgusting, and people need to just live and let live. Just leave people alone. But I don't know. Like Dylan's in for an interesting.
David, has Dylan talked to you about that? Like when he gets out, he's, has he said, I'm going to go on a press tour or, you know what I mean? Has he ever said anything like that to you?
No, he never said anything like that. I know that he's got some books out and that he was trying to publish some more books. I expect that that's what he's working on now. I don't really see him being successful in it. I don't really see him. I mean, he might have some issues with what I've told the media. So I think his biggest issue is probably going to be with me, but I'll be able to deal with it. But I don't really expect Dylan to be out, the next couple months, maybe not even the next couple of years. I think it's going to be a while before Dylan even gets released.
Yeah, because he's committed crimes in prison, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually assaulted officers. He bit his lip open and started spitting blood at officers. And he went to Wisconsin Resource Center for a competency evaluation, and they found him competent. So they put a bunch of charges on him, even from Marathon County and Dodge County. So he's going to be looking at those charges.
I would say he's going to be otherwise engaged for a while.
He's going to be incarcerated for a good bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He got multiple charges pending.
Does anyone have any other questions for David? I'm trying to think, but there really isn't. I'm interested in clarifying just to summarize, David, you're saying that Chris did say that he is in contact with Nicole Kessinger. Chris said that there are rumors. Is that right?
Yeah. That.
So, okay, so they're not actually in contact, but Chris said that he doesn't know whether or not, if she did reach out to him, he doesn't know whether or not he or she did under using her name. And then the second thing is, what was the second thing, John? Do you remember? Oh, the confession.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second thing was, so based on your time at Dodge and when you left Dodge, you were with him or around him between since the time he got, so you were there in December of 2018 when Chris got there, and you were transferred out in January. So within those couple of weeks that you were together at Dodge, you're saying that he told you that he got into an argument with Shanae when she came home, and she told him that he would never see the kids again, and that he then killed Shanann and then killed the kids because he didn't want to pay child support and because he wanted to be with NK.
That's correct.
Okay, so those are.
He said that, or she found out that he was seeing somebody else, and then they had arguments. Said that she would never see he would never see the kids. And then he snapped from
Our
there.
shadow lady wants to join us. Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Who is this again?
I'm fine. Yeah. I just want to clarify something. Obviously, you know, I don't know if everybody sort of knows how you'd not been well and what have you. So obviously, some sort of problems there. But there's one thing I sort of do want to clear up. I was actually in AD's chat the other night with you, and you did sort of say that Daily Mail contacted you, not the other way around. So you just sort of contradicted yourself.
Yeah, I didn't want to really talk about how it all came about because I didn't want to put that out there. But they didn't contact me. I contacted them.
Okay, but you, as I say, you said something different to AD. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I've actually got history with the Daily Mail. When my grandson died, they said he was 12 and he was 6. So you know that's the sort of thing that they do. I just wanted to clarify that. That's okay. I'll go now. You look after yourself.
Okay.
And
that's okay, Sheila. You can stay if you want, but thank you for that.
Yeah, I know it probably would make AD mad and angry that I went to another news channel, but
no. He doesn't. You know, he doesn't control you. Nobody controls you. You're your own person. I don't know because I wasn't sort of in the conversation that with him. And you know, you're your own person, and you've got to do what you want to do. It's just that I'm a bit confused about that particular answer. I say that story's been picked up from the Daily Mail and it's gone everywhere. But you know, obviously having experience with the Daily Mail, I'm not impressed with it. Although my mother-in-law reads it, but there you go. It's just that it's like watching something and it just sort of snowballed and got bigger and it got misinterpreted and it was like it's like a child's game. Is that people were insinuating that this was going on and that was going on. You know,
and I think it's really important to get the truth out there because, look, people might have all types of feelings about NK, and Lord knows, like I have questions, you know, about that night and about NK and everything like that. But I can't sit here and say that I, for 1 second, buy that she is in fact writing Chris Watts. I highly doubt it.
It doesn't matter if she is anyway, because she can do whatever she likes.
She can do whatever she wants, yes. And so that's what I mean for, you know, the Daily Mail to just pick up these stories and put them out there without any sort of research or investigating any of this. I mean, this was like,
I can only insinuate, I can only put out there that they've seen David's story somewhere else, or he contacted them. But they're not very good in listening to other people's point of view, because when it happened to my grandson, it was a coroner's inquiry. It was 6 weeks. It was in little bits of local paper, and it went on to national paper. That's what usually happens, because it's called lazy journalist. They just pick up on other people's stories, and they were sort of the attitude, oh well, that's what we've got now. Every other newspaper had the right age. He was 6, they put 12. It's an easy mistake to make. They could have corrected it, but they didn't. They just kept running with the story. So
I'm sorry.
So it's very possible that they could have reached out to me. I've been having a lot of problems with my phone, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that they didn't try.
But you were the first one to contact them, right? And so here's another thing that kind of strikes me about David is that he's kind of quiet, reserved. So even like, oh, David's gone. Maybe his battery died. He said his phone would die. David, I don't know that Dylan would. Oh, hold on. Sorry, he's back. I'm getting distracted. There's a million things going on over here. Hi.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry. Somebody was being ignorant.
Yeah, I was saying that in terms of reaching out and everything, and in terms of prison, you don't strike me as someone who would just kind of just hold on, let me just gather my thoughts.
Gild the lily, I think the phrasing is sort of run with it for 15 minutes of fame. Or
no, gosh, what? Sorry, guys, my mind is really scattered right now
and normally I can interpret
but this time
she's thinking, but this time I can't.
I wish I could just speak in a different language and you would understand me.
I can't translate this time. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could.
Let me
make it easier.
Stupid conduct report out of my head, out of my view, so I don't get distracted. Oh my God. Let me think. What was
So is the Daily Mail sort of like over here in America, if you know, are familiar with these like tabloid magazines, like the National Enquirer or the Sun?
No.
Okay.
No,
it's not like that.
It's sort of it's the next step up. It's a very what we call Tories, sort of. It's very that political, but they have been sued quite a few times. Let's put it that way. So,
are they like Radar Online, like that, where they report news, but they don't always get it right, and it's kind of gossipy?
That's my impression. A little bit like they don't really get everything right, and they like to exaggerate.
But they want the headlines, don't they? They want to get the views. They want to sell the newspapers. That's their job. They're journalists.
Yeah, and my problem isn't with the Daily Mail. I mean, they are a news outlet. But the thing is that like it's getting picked up by everybody else, and that's how it slowly forms and morphs into a fact, quote unquote, of the case.
Correct.
And then, but it's not, and that's the frustrating part. Is
I mean, if we lay it on the line, the further down the line it gets, it's gone through many variations of the original story. So, my attitude to all of the Ruseks or Shanann Ruseks, because I refuse to use certain man's name, is that he's the only one that lies. He's the only one that knows. He's a compulsive liar. He's a manipulator, and he's playing games.
Sing it, sister. Sing it. You are correct.
I'm sorry.
Don't say sorry. You're telling the truth.
I'm British. I apologise for everything. It's what I do. the other word is sorry. Even if I'm, yeah. You know, I'm getting to the stage. I sort of had this conversation with Nat before. Is that, and they keep sort of saying stop talking about it. But then why are, when you go into a bigger channel, there are 600-700 people listening to it? You know, it's, you can't stop people talking about it, and I'm sorry for both sides of the family. I'm sorry for everybody that's left, but you know, but there's nothing that we can do about it. And if I don't think the case was handled properly, I really don't.
I don't know. I'm starting to have second thoughts. Like, well, they're not really second thoughts. Like, I don't think I'm confused about the investigation that happened, but where my issue comes is with NK, but mostly what happened afterwards. What happened afterwards on social media and what's still happening. So that's the part where I'm kind of stuck on that Watts Island phenomenon, where it just seems like we're like all in this little bubble, and the bubble consists of.
Well, let's be fair.
Circus.
There are people who do speak to Watts, and that's been confirmed. Not you, David. I'm not talking about you. This is before you. And they're ingratiated with him and members of his family who have recently perpetuated the drama around Kessinger by saying specifically that Watts is now claiming that Kessinger was involved, but he couldn't remember how. Which, how do you remember she was involved, but you don't remember what it was that she did? So I can't tell you. I mean, look, I wasn't there.
I haven't heard that one. You see, that's another one. I've heard a lot of. Oh, I mean, it's crazy out there. Is that people are, you know, I've been called AD, and the conspiracy theories and what's going on behind the scenes is crazy. It's not fair to Shanann's family, and I'm sorry because I get a lot of hate from this, but also Chris's family. Whatever we think of them, they didn't physically involved with them. They weren't there. You know, if you nitpicked it together, they might have put a few logs on the fire. But that's families, isn't it? That's how families interact.
They can be dysfunctional. But the person that put this out is the person that was at one point working on his 35C.
I'm doing the show.
And that's, I can't, okay. Because she was working so hard at this 35C, and I think we can all sort of agree on that, that she was trying, right? And leave it at that. But because for the longest time, she avoided really the subject of Kessinger. For her now to do a 180 and repeat that makes me wonder if Watts is up to his old shenanigans again, which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because I just can't see her putting that out there if it didn't come from him.
Well, did it get her views, you see? You know, my attitude is now, if anybody wants to help Chris, or he wants Chris, he can get somebody legal to go and visit him. He doesn't need to be all over social media and YouTube and.
Well, I think we can all agree that if you need a lawyer, you would want to start with the yellow pages, not the YouTubes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Well, I don't know. See, I've got a degree in criminal law, but it's obviously in British law. It works completely different over there. But he must have access to lawyers, surely.
He has access to a law. He has access to a law library, and he is, point in fact, indigent. And if he wanted to do a 35C, I would think. Don't quote me on this. I'm not a lawyer. But I would think that if he wanted a lawyer, he could apply to get a lawyer, another public defender. I mean, I don't know how that works with the 35C.
No, yeah,
I know it's
definitely.
different when you go to trial and are convicted. You have, particularly with the death penalty in America, you have automatic appeals, and so after your trial lawyer, you can get a public defender for an appellate lawyer. But I don't know how it works if you plead guilty, how you then go about getting an attorney.
Yeah. Well, according to
crap.
He told me this. Yes, according to Ronnie Watts, apparently Chris was told by John Walsh, who's one of his attorneys, that they would have fought this if he wanted to. And when Chris said that he's pleading guilty, like he just wants it to be over, that John Walsh told him, whenever you're ready to go ahead with that 35C, give us a call. So
why are these? Why? It's my attitude.
Because they're inserting themselves. They're inserting themselves. I was listening to the Reckoning and the.
Yeah, I know you mean.
Reckoning in the whatever the hell that is. I was
in the toilet. No,
apparently, and I only listened to a little part of it where she addressed the Zoom call that we had with her that we talked about. So, just a quick update. So, like, this is KK, right? So she was saying that we at the psych ward are NK sided. And that she thought it was cute when we asked her whether or not she had looked into NK.
So fucking condescending.
So she's well, not only is that condescending, but that's the farthest from what the fuck that phone call went like.
Well, how about this? I think it's real cute that she still claims to have knowledge of anything pertaining to this family, period.
Yeah, it's over.
Super cute.
Kim, come on, get up on panel too. Let's get this over with. Like, I'm done with like I'm so over this misinformation. And Kim, okay, so during this live, I did take notes during this live that she did.
Have you got your pen and paper there? Because we want to see,
I sure
see
do.
notes.
I sure do. I wrote a whole ass thing for Miss KK. So, well, I don't know, David, if you want to stick around for this, but you're welcome to come back anytime. I don't have any more questions for you. If something else comes up, I don't know. We'll
you look after yourself, David. As I say, who will sort of be there and that for you. None of us are saints. We've all, especially me, because I'm 60. I'm 66 next week. So you get to a certain age, if you haven't done anything in life, whether good or bad, you have to learn from it. So as I say, we're not here to judge you. You've got a life to live, and I hope you feel better.
Yeah, and just watch out for yourself. Messing around with the Watts case and with the YouTubes and the tabloids is only going to get you back in the.
And David, I know what links you're talking about now because I've seen them on other channels. I don't know if they're bots or what the deal is, but it's a tiny link. It doesn't even it's not a full link, and it's blue. Don't click those ever, 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 ever. Don't click them.
And I don't know. Sorry, I don't know who your friend Tracy is, and she seems as if she's really got your back, but she sort of keeps putting out your email out there. That's not really a good thing if you want to sort of stay away from this. If you want to put your email on your channel, then that's sort of down to you, and people can contact you. But it's not a good thing.
Yeah, and
I'll
just
be
David
talking to her when I get off the phone.
Yeah, David, for just future references too. Like whenever you don't know how to deal with something or when it becomes overwhelming, you could always talk to your PO too and ask her, like, what the hell do I do now to get rid of these people? Because she's ultimately the person that you want to talk to, because she's the one who's going to tell you the right thing to do. So,
Right. So what do y'all think is going to happen next with all this stuff going on?
for you,
Yeah.
well, if you don't engage in it, it'll go away.
Yeah, just ignore them. Nat's been through it. I've been through it. The complete thing is don't engage with these people.
And
Just stick with what you know.
As tempting as it is, David, I know that you want to defend yourself and you want to, like you did today, we were reading the article and you were in chat clarifying some of the things that were wrong in the article. I know that could be tempting, but believe me that you correcting someone in chat is going to have zero impact on what happens externally in terms of like the trolls and everything like that. So don't even bother engaging in any of that. If you trust certain people who reach out to you and you feel like that they wouldn't use you or expose you to whatever, then use your judgment. But for the overall answer to your question is don't engage.
And remember, David, this is the best advice I can give anybody who's listening. What other people think, other people's opinion of you is not your business.
Right.
It really isn't. There's always going to be people that either believe you or don't believe you. And guess what? You have zero control over it. So don't sweat it. And don't go around running to channel or, like they said, don't engage. Because the more you try to prove that you're telling the truth, the more comments are going to come. Because you're engaging.
Crazier it gets as well. That's the other thing. I learned my lesson the big time. You go in there and you think, no, I'm going to talk to this person and put them right. And that's not how it goes.
I'm going to have a rational and sensible conversation with this person. I'm going to straighten this all out. And spoiler alert, it never gets straightened out. It just gets worse.
And it winds you up, unfortunately, no matter how sort of down
you are. Mama. There. Or sorry, thank you. I called you. Thank you, Allie79. I saw Mama somewhere, and what's his face? David just fell off again. But yes, Mama Bear. Cato has as much credibility as a piece of gum. Yeah. So back to this KK live, right? So I was offended, and actually, I was offended by what she was saying, because I think that was if that was her interpretation of the phone call that the six of us had, and she's the only one that walked away with that understanding of how the phone call went, then I don't know if we were having the same phone call, to be quite honest. So,
well, to say that, look, maybe just for argument's sake, let me play devil's advocate for just a second.
Let me see if one of the ladies who were on that call actually would like to come up too. Because y'all know my memory sucks. So,
and I wasn't there.
So if one of the ladies,
and I wasn't
were on
watching because I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I'm sorry.
This was a private call. This was a private call on Zoom that happened between Kim K, Jamie, Kelly, Caffeine Q, myself, and Mama Bear. So it was quite the chat. So if one of you ladies who are on the call want to come up here as well, that would be amazing.
I just think that KK, if you're listening, I'm not going to argue. I believe my friend. If she said she didn't say it, then she didn't say it. She's never lied to me before. But even if she had said it, to be condescending in the way that you were with the retelling of this phone call by calling it cute is incredibly condescending and incredibly dismissive, particularly since you have been very vocal about everybody's opinion is valid. Everybody has the right to their opinion. To condescend like that is wrong, and you should know better.
Well,
And
I've
I'm
said
off my
some things.
soapbox because
Yeah,
watch that.
I've said some choice things about, Kim too. Like it's not a big secret. But please, like, how am I NK sided if I'm just so confused where she got that from? Like, that's why I'm just so stuck on this. If NK was okay, hold on. Caffeine Q said she's coming up, and like I said, I don't want to. I want to misquote. My memory sucks, but I do believe I recall there was a conversation about Shanann being drunk at Lazy Dog. This is coming from Kim. So for her to sit there and say, haha, cute, when she was the one on that very same call telling me how Shanann was at the Lazy Dog parking lot and fucking Nicole Atkinson had her phone and was delivering it from Arizona to Lazy Dog. Like, what the fuck?
There's a lot. I don't know what it is with this case. I have been around true crime for some time. I've never ever come across anything so many people. It's okay to have a YouTube channel. You can put out your theories. You can do whatever you like. I don't think that's hurting the family, personally. But the first thing, again, the only thing I can go down to is what my son's family and that went through. As soon as he engaged a lawyer, and this is sort of 5 years after the event, it was a wrongful death. That's all it was. Well, that's what he was going for. It wasn't a murder or anything. The first thing they said to him is, do not engage with social media. We will arrange things for you to go through. Hello, Kathy.
Hi.
And that's what they do, is that they arrange everything. They control how you go through the press. They will do everything for you. Again, obviously you can tell I am not in America, but I presume it works the same way. They're the ones
It does.
they they're going to make money out of it. You have to pay for justice in some respects, and they have their own departments, or they use people that will do that. So,
well, a lawyer will tell you in any situation never to talk. You don't talk to the cops. You don't talk to the media. Don't talk. All lawyers will tell you not to talk. So
no, because you could say one thing and you've condemned yourself, haven't you? That's
right. And it's always subject to interpretation and stuff. So they'll always tell you, just be quiet. Let us talk for you. That's why you hired us.
Yeah. Well, they're going to earn their money, but I might be coming to the end where I'm sort of going to jump off Wax Island and put a ring round me and go for it, because it sort of it gets to you in the end. At the end of the day, it was Shanann and children. It's the children that get me. I'm sorry, but things happen between husbands and wives, and we don't know what goes on behind closed door. But it's those children and what he did to not only what he did insinuated happened to them, it's how he disposed of the body, and that just
exactly.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi. Sorry, my voice. I got a terrible cough, so.
Oh, sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're back. We haven't had you on the channel for a long time, though we do speak every day, but it's good to have you back here.
Thank you.
So yeah, we were talking about that phone call, and y'all know me, my head is everywhere all the time. So what do you remember about that phone call? Were we NK sided?
No, we were not. And in hearing that, I was really shocked that she would say that we were on the side of NK. She asked us what was our purpose, for being in the Watts life. And I told her that, my purpose was as an advocate. When I found out, that Cindy was concerned about getting her reimbursement back, I said, I can help her. do that. You were telling her about how you felt like that Well County did them an injustice, that they did not, uh, as far as being a victim, they did not do right by them. And there was no conversation about us being on the side of Nicole Kessinger. And it's like when I heard that, it was like, what is she talking about?
The only thing that I do remember about NK in that entire conversation was Kim was basically saying that there's nothing. She was like, nothing to look at, look at about NK. There's nothing there. And I think I said, well, how do we explain the ping? And I think she said, like, caffeine. Did she say that she was on her way to work or some shit like that? But
I think she did.
You can say that she was on the way to work, but you don't have any proof. Just like I don't have any proof to say
Right.
that she was at the house. Like,
And it was not
don't come at me with the she was on her way to work argument. That doesn't fly with me. It's not likely. As a matter of fact, it's less likely that she was taking that route to go to work than it would be for her to go to his house. Because on the 60 days that we have on her phone bills, the 2 months of phone bills, out of the 60 days, 55 of those days, she freaking drove through Brighton. So don't come at me with the she was on her way to work and she was driving by to see if Shanann was there and she was just nosy and she wanted to see. No, stop.
But even in that conversation, how did she get that we were on the side of Nicole Kessinger? We were not on Nicole Kessinger's side.
Said
So
her response to my ping question was, if NK had anything to do with this, that makes Chris guilty.
Well, that's the thing, is that
He's
we got out of it that the reason why she didn't want to bring up Nicole Kessinger, because that means that he would have been guilty. Yes, he is guilty. He's in prison.
Like, where
5
are
life
you?
sentences.
Yeah.
Well, his wife and children.
I was on that call. Like, what did she just say?
Yeah.
Help. Even Jamie was like, whoa, Kim, hold on.
Exactly. She was.
She made Jamie cry on that call.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous this was. And then actually hearing her reflect on that call helped me understand just how.
Well, it helped me to understand that she wasn't even listening to what we were saying.
Yeah, she's completely out of touch, tone deaf. I don't know.
I just think it's rude the way she said it was cute. I find that so.
And then to say that she went back to
condescending.
Jamie and said, about working with us. I'm sorry, Kim, we walked away. You didn't walk away. We walked away. So,
Yeah. And if she's here, I would invite her to come on.
It was just disappointing to hear her say that
because,
about us.
This needs to be hashed out. And I listened to a couple more minutes of, hold on. So let me see. I took some notes here. So she is saying that, oh, thank you, Amy. One day, let's see. One day when I'm brave, I want to come up and talk about the BS of Shanann being drunk. I've been in medical for a while. It just bothers me so much. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, it's not. We would love to have you on anytime. Let us know. But yeah, it's not even a question. I mean, that has been thoroughly investigated as well. And
repeatedly.
So just drop it. Just drop the drunk thing. KK. Just drop the drunk thing. Dunk the dunk. Yeah, so then she went on to talk about how much she supports the Watts and how nobody wants nobody wants the best for them except her. Like, she's been there from the beginning. She's downplaying her roles in the dynamics in the family, and she's downplaying her role in the impact that, or the social media circus, essentially, that became of this case and of the Watts family. I understand that that Kim is convinced that something's shady in this case, but that's just that's your opinion, Kim, and you're entitled to it. But what you're not entitled to is to force that opinion onto the Watts family, and not allow them to heal and to move past and to move on with their lives. You, Kim Kaufman, single-handedly did not allow them to move on and move past this crime. So much like your NK argument, Kim, I would also like to know how you have arrived at your conclusion. How did you come to your conclusion? Because I see your involvement in the case as exactly the opposite. You say you're their helper. You say you were there from the first day. And she keeps saying, her tagline is, you guys have no idea. There's just so much. There's just so much. You guys have no idea. There's just so much and so many people. And I talked so many things and places and whatever. So that doesn't answer the question. That doesn't tell people the fact that you've turned away free help from this family.
So much free help. So much.
It's not helpful, Kim, when you took it upon yourself to vet people. Not only people, but to vet the theories that people come with. And essentially vet the help that comes with that. And of course, you pick and choose the ones that you think are credible and reliable and that you feel the Watts could be exposed to. That's a problem, because based on what, Kim, are you vetting the people who come in and out of Watts' life? Even with your vetting and with your layer of protection, the last 2 years have been the years from hell for both the Watts and the Rusak family. So I don't know what you're doing to exactly show this love or the support that you have for the Watts. Maybe you think you know this family because you were there from day one. Kim, you met this family on the worst day of their entire life. You met this family at a worst time in their lives. And if you think that you know anything about these people in this case, you're mistaken, because what you have gotten to know over the last 2 years are shells of people that used to be people before this incredible tragedy happened to them. So no, Kim, you do not have the right to speak for the Watts or for anyone else, for that matter.
Correct.
I agree.
I have more notes. The issue is not personal, because that's another thing that I gained from the couple of minutes that I listened to her live after she called our little thing cute. So what strikes me is, obviously the I. This is not about you, Kim. Again, I feel like I have been saying this to Watts spoke people ever since good old Mel came on scene. And God, I wish Mel was back, because Mel, I'm sorry, girlfriend. But yeah, the issue is not you, Kim. The issue is not personal. This isn't about you. So for you to take on this responsibility to vet professionals, to talk to professionals, based on what? Based on what? So this is not a criticism for you. I don't have a personal problem against you. I don't have anything against you. This is an outcry. This is an outcry from someone who you claim you respect, and not me as a person, but you said in your 6-hour live that you value the opinion of people who are educated and who have experience and credentials and know what they're talking about. So I am crying out to you as someone who does have the experience and the education to make this assertion. And I'm asking you, Kim, stop. Stop trying to help free a child killer.
Yes.
Stop trying to insert yourself into this family's life and stop trying to make sense of the evidence for this family without any credentials. You went on, this is turning into a long one, but I didn't realize this was, I guess I wrote a lot, but she went on to cite her wife, who has military experience, as
An integrator.
yeah, as the integrator, as the person who verifies information for her and who tells her what's valid and what isn't. I'm sorry to break it to you, but your wife's military experience does not make her qualified to comment on anything regarding this case, not on the interrogation that Tammy did with Chris Watts, because that wasn't an interrogation. That was a lie detector, a polygraph examination, and it was administered in a standardized way, Kimberly. If you don't understand that word, that's one of those professional slash, what does she call them? Expert words. Expert. It was a standardized procedure that Tammy did from A to Z. And if you are a professional who deals with any sort of examinations of other human beings in any sort of situation, you would know when you see it. You would know that there are no violations of his constitutional rights. You would know that he was read his fucking Miranda rights and that they are valid on Tuesday at 11 a.m. or sorry, Wednesday 11 a.m. just as they are at Wednesday night at 11 p.m. when he got arrested. So get away with the Miranda stuff. Oh, now I got off track. That's not what I was talking about. So leave them alone. You're misinterpreting this. Let's see what else. I mean, this channel isn't about me being a psychologist or whatever. Yeah, my name is Dr. B. I do have the experience and the education to comment on psychological matters, and so I will. I can't detach my brain from myself. So part of being having that knowledge and that education, I guess, it makes me reflect on my own damn life, which I think not many of us are doing. So Kim, when I listen to you, I'm not being mean to you, although I am, but I'm not coming from a bad place in my heart. I'm coming from a place of recognizing the type of person that you are, because as much as you want to give this image of being this really strong, intelligent, fact-oriented, driven personality, independent woman who knows what she wants, that's the image that you're projecting, and that's great. But what's not matching up, see, Kim, for me, what is red flags is the mouth and the ass don't match, because what you're saying is not matching your behaviors. So there's an inconsistency. So that means either A, you're full of shit, or B, you have no idea what you're talking about. You're in a complete twilight zone and a place of fog that you're just as reckless as the Watts are in all of their grief. So for that, that obviously tells me that there's something going on with you that might be that you're protecting, that you don't want to get to. You don't want to talk about it. You want to look at it. You do not want or have, conscious or unconscious, any access to that part of yourself. And that's called emotional detachment. And that's sad, Kim. That's sad. That's sad that you don't allow yourself to feel emotions. It's sad that you denounce emotions so much so that you have detached yourself from them completely because You were willing to give up the good ones because the bad ones were just as bad. Or that bad, I should say, if that makes sense. So you've built these walls around you, and unfortunately, those walls have made you completely oblivious to what the fuck is going on around you. You can't hear anything. You can't see anything. You have an idea, and that's what you're going with, but you're not hearing the emotional pain that you're causing other people because you don't feel your own emotional pain. Kim, did you hear Jamie crying on our Zoom call?
Oh, man.
Did you hear her break down? This is the first time that I had heard that I was left speechless. But Kim, you kept talking.
Yeah, she did.
You kept talking, and you didn't even acknowledge this woman crying. So you can't see, you cannot see the emotional disaster that you're causing this family, Kim. So yeah, I'm being cute. Sorry. Now I'm just yelling. But it really
it's
riles me
frustrating.
up. It really riles me up. But that's it for now. I'll stop right now because I can't. I'm getting really emotional and angry, so I don't want to keep going with that because this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
But-
this was meant to be,
I think you needed to get that out.
I agree. I think that if you don't take the time when you have direct and specific knowledge about an event, that if and that's the problem with this case in general, is the level of misinformation, misinterpretation constantly. That I'm sure there are people that were listening to that live, aside from you guys who were actually on that call, that knew what she was talking about. And for her to imply that you were dismissed is wrong. And for her to also say that you guys
going to make me pull up my screenshots,
were too focused on NK, and that's why you were dismissed, is also wrong. So the best way to combat that is to tell what actually happened.
Wait, she said that we were too focused on NK? We weren't even focused on the case, period.
Wait. That might be my fault. Wait. Don't come out your hair, Battle Cat. Calm down just 1 second.
Hey, I'm Bosnian. I don't care.
I know you don't. I know. And that's why I'm like, hell.
She did say we were NK sided.
NK sided. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
So it's the same thing.
NK sided.
Our focus was on NK, and that is not true. So that showed me that 4 hours we were on that Zoom call with her, that she didn't hear. It wasn't 4 hours. It was a waste of time. She didn't hear anything we were saying.
Nothing. I kept telling her, like, look, Kim, she's talking about what Chris gets out when Chris gets out. I told her, Kim, we're not getting Chris out. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? Like, we're not doing anything for Chris. We're helping the family. Like, Cindy specifically. Catherine Q is helping Cindy specifically. Like, what part of that is difficult to understand? It just bothers me. It bothers me so much. Oh, thank you, Colleen. And thank you, Angel. Thank you for the super stickers.
Yes, my reason for coming into Cindy's life was to help her get something back that she wanted. Not for Chris, not for any of that. And to stop that just was so selfish to me. That was just so selfish to stop that or make Cindy feel some sort of way. It was to help her. It had nothing to do with Chris Watts.
Sorry, I'm just gonna step away for a bit too. I'll be right back.
I mean,
You gonna catch yourself?
Go on, Jen. What were you about to
sorry.
say?
I just feel like I'm annoyed at this point about all of the, and I can only, the misinformation constantly. I don't understand how anybody can hear the words coming out of somebody else's mouth and so far misinterpret them, so badly misinterpret them. It's like me sitting here or standing here saying to you guys, the weather in Florida, in my part of Florida today, is sunny and a little breezy. And you hearing me say, Florida's having a hurricane. Okay.
Right.
Literally never said that, didn't imply it, but that's what you heard. And that's the problem. That is the problem. It has, and this has zero to do with the case. This is what happens when, I'm not going to say it because it's just going to be mean.
Well, I'm glad we walked away. I'm so glad that we detached ourselves. We weren't removed. She didn't have us removed. We decided to walk away on our own. And every time I hear her speak about something, I'm glad that we made that choice because, like I said before, our thing was to do no harm, was to actually do no harm. I did not want to be a part of someone accusing Shanann of coming home drunk. I did not want to be a part of someone demanding the DNA results of the baby. I did not want to be a part of that. That is not your business. Who are you
that was
to get on
an
YouTube
overreach.
and say someone was drunk or demand the Rusex to give you the results of that baby, the DNA test of that baby? It got under my skin when I heard that. And I'm not even a part of it. I'm like, how dare you? Who are you?
Right. Exactly. So hold on. I just read a quote. Okay. So Andrea Delaney said, why did Lana say they were all on the same page for the first time? I don't know why Lana says any of the things that she says, to be perfectly honest with you. And it would be way out of my scope to even try to figure out why. I have no idea. I don't even know her. So, and I think that's another issue with what happens with KK is that people do ask questions like that. And then here she goes speaking on it. How does anybody know what anybody else is thinking at a given time? If you want to know what somebody's, and this is not to you, Andrea, like this is not a dig at you, it's at Kim. If you want to know what somebody's thinking, why don't you just ask them? Don't speak for somebody else. Just say you don't know. It's okay to say, I got no idea. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
Someone was giving me some feedback earlier about being very stern with David in the way that I ask questions. It's difficult not being like in person, first of all, but second of all, like I really don't like beating around the bush. Like that's just who I am. Right. And it's not mean or anything. I mean, it's just who I am. And I'm just looking through some of my conversations that I've had with Jamie. Well, actually, I'm looking at the conversation that we had around this time when all this started happening, when we walked away from the case. I'm just reading what I was saying. And what was I talking about? My introductions are too long. I need to start from the back and then work my way forward.
I think what our beloved Dr. B is trying to say is, if you want a direct answer, you must ask a direct question.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like I'm looking at the I'm looking at the thing, at the text messages, and that's exactly how I was with Jamie. Like I would add, like, hey, did you give Chris the vaccine? She was like, excuse me? Like, Yeah, like, did you? You know?
Yes, you
So
always direct with Jamie. Always.
so it's not to be mean or anything. I'm just tired of games. Like, why do people need to play games? Just be direct. Be direct. And I'm not good with reading between the lines. So,
And Mama Bear was always direct with her too.
oh hell yeah.
And now I feel bad because I feel like I got like on a little tangent, and I didn't mean it to sound like I was being snotty or rude to you, Andrea. And I hope you didn't take it that way. My frustration really is with KK, because this is what happens. And the fact of the matter is, if you're going to hold yourself out, not anymore, but in the past, as the quote unquote, and these are her words, spokesperson for the family, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, and you will be held to a higher standard. People are listening to you because you have purported that you have a direct line of communication with Cindy and Ronnie Watts and Chris Watts. So what you say matters. And that's all I'm going to say. I just don't want Andrea to think I was like, here comes Jen trying to be a jerk. I wasn't. It wasn't at you. It wasn't directed at you. It's just that I think your question is a good example. It's a valid question, but it's a good example of a question that unless you are that person, you shouldn't be answering. It's not, there's nothing wrong with what you asked. It's when people answer for other people.
Well, there was only
that I
really
have an issue with.
two things that really bothered me, and that was I was asking for the DNA test. You would have thought that she was asking me for it, but that bothered me, asking for those DNA results. And every time I hear them say they are the only ones who have not went against the Watts, that's a lie. Stop it. That is not true. You are not the only ones. There are other people who have spoken to the Watts and did not parade around YouTube
Exactly.
and say that. So stop saying that. Kim and Lana, stop it. You are not the only ones that have talked to the Watts and have not put out things. We put out nothing. No one even knew that we were speaking to them.
Oh my god. Look at Allie's comment.
What?
I was so pumped for her channel, and then it launched and it felt like I received my first order from Wish.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. That
You're not
is
wrong.
hilarious. Yeah. But let me see. There is another thing that just. Oh yeah, yesterday when I was listening, or this morning, I don't even know what day it is anymore. But when she was asked,
God, we've been through this 11 billion times. It's Easter, so Sunday.
right? When she was saying that people say that she's brainwashed the Watts, and Kim was explaining that that's ridiculous, that no, she didn't, that they're doing all of this themselves or whatever. But then, you know, in the next breath, contradicts herself by saying that she had to weed through all the people and all the theories and decide which ones to keep and which ones to leave. So she's saying that basically as part of her investigation of the case and the multiple people that she's talked to and the multiple professionals that she's talked to, that she's come to that conclusion that all of those people that she's quote unquote removed, including Anna, were up to no good.
Wow.
And that, you know, sorry to break it to you, Kim, but that's brainwashing, girlfriend.
I didn't even get that far. I had to stop.
Yeah,
After
like if you
she said we sided with NK.
Yeah, if you're at any point, if you at any point find yourself thinking for someone else, guess what? You're out of your damn mind. You're thinking for some, you know, you're brainwashing them, girl. Like, come on now. We all know you were on your channel, Kim, talking about you got the person who was at the sentencing, Gene Powers or whatever, like, I'm sick of these people, and I'm sick of their names already. I'm sick of hearing about that name. I'm sick of hearing Rourke's name. I'm sick of hearing about Cindy's interviews. I'm sick of hearing about all of that, because all of that Kim took accountability for and said that she organized and orchestrated this. So I think that people, may be underestimating just how much.
How'd that vetting work out there for you, KK?
Yeah. And, I'm not going to just blame KK alone. I don't think anyone who has spoken on behalf of the Watts thus far knows what they're talking about. And I'm not sure, like, how their vetting process went, but this whole thing, a disaster from the very beginning. So, but yeah,
it was I think disaster is an understatement, because what ended up happening was the Watts were already vilified as the parents of the perpetrator, even though they were victims of his crime as well. But they were vilified because they're his parents. They're still being vilified. And everything since then has only gotten worse.
Yeah, and it can be it can be tempting. It can be easy to slip down that slippery slope and, dislike the parents of the murderer. Like, it's not unheard of. Of course, they're gonna face some clapback. But what I think happened here is in their grief too, and with the shock of what happened, and KK's immediate jump on. I mean, come on, girl. You're telling me you researched things up and down, back and forth, left and right, but you're on the accused group or whatever Facebook group that was on those screenshots in September of 2018 talking about Shanann killed the girls. So I don't know how objective and how well researched you think you have this case, but based on what we've seen so far, girl, let me just tell you, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. And this is a person who then essentially interpreted and translated the discovery to the Watts family. And of course, Cindy's going to sit on that interview and say, I want my son to have a day in court. She was not stable.
And I think it can't be understood. Look, to be fair here, the Watts have, in their own ways, created the backlash that they get. Okay? But also, to be fair, part of the grief process is anger. And I think
It is.
what we saw in that interview with Cindy was anger and frustration. And that's part of it. And to be perfectly blunt, she should have never been encouraged to do that interview at that time. She was not in the right place to do it. That doesn't mean that she shouldn't be accountable for the words that she spoke. What I'm saying is, when you watch that interview, keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. But yeah, when she came in with this and the way that she molded this family's understanding of what was happening around them, God, Kim, you're, man, that's dangerous. Like, you're dangerous, Kim.
Especially
Yes.
given the fact
You're
that you
dangerous.
base a lot of your advice around a concept that these are based on your words and your words alone. You don't understand what an actual Brady violation is. If you know about it, it's not a Brady violation. If it's in the discovery, it's not a Brady violation. A Brady violation, for the millionth time, the 11th billionth time, is when there is exculpatory evidence. Exculpatory means proof of possible innocence on the part of the suspect. In this situation, Chris himself. If exculpatory evidence is withheld by the prosecution to the defense, it is then a Brady violation. So if it's in the discovery, it's not a Brady violation. If they didn't ask on the polygraph test if Chris killed the girls, that's not a Brady violation. The only way it would be a Brady violation is if it was asked and he passed on that question and they didn't turn the results over. And again, I got the bad back. Let me get off this soapbox.
No. Look,
It's
I did.
frustrating.
I did. I made something. Well, I started to. Let me see if it's on here. And it's so creepy. But what I did is I took the interview that Chris had with Coder. Or no, sorry, I'm lying. I took the polygraph.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'm distracted. 'Cause
This witness is perjuring herself on the stand by misstating something.
yes, I always
You
do that.
liar!
I
No,
always
you're not
do that.
lying. You just misspoke, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
And you corrected it immediately. People misspeak. It happens.
Well, actually, I'm not gonna fumble around now, look for it now, because that's just gonna take way too much energy and whatever. But I will actually release it. I'll put it up on the channel when we're done here. But what I did is I matched up. So okay, this discovery is full of like Easter eggs. I'm telling you guys. So there's actually, so we have the video recording of Coder and what's his face, Chris's interview. But what I didn't look deeper into, that I just recently discovered, was that Coder also had his recording device with him and had it on the table throughout the whole interview. So we have the video and audio that we have of their interview, but we also have Coder's audio. So what I did is I put Coder's audio and matched it up with the video, and y'all, it sounds like we're sitting in the room with them. It's
Oh my.
amazing. So that's the first thing that I did that I'm going to put out. And then the second thing that I did was I did the same thing with the polygraph, but in the actual discovery, the polygraph interview is divided into 4 parts. So I took the part, the 3 o'clock chunk. It goes by hours. So like from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. part, and matched it up to the drone footage out on the field. And so it's exactly lined up to when they discovered the grave, you know what I mean, to what was going on in the interrogation room. And I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to let you guys watch that thing, watch it yourselves when I put it out, and you guys let me know what you think in terms of all of these claims that are going around about fucking Chris being innocent and not knowing what the fuck is going on. Give me a break. So that's good. That's exciting, and it's creepy to see, you know, like the interview room and then the drone footage, and it just gave me goosebumps. So throughout the entire period, I think the drone footage is like 8 minutes long or something like that. For the duration of those 8 minutes, 9 minutes, Chris was in the room by himself because Tammy was done with the exam and she had walked out. So, you know, just thinking about that, like you're watching him sitting there in that room, God knows what's going on inside of his head. And here you go, like 45 minutes away, like they're just about to discover the most gruesome sight of their entire lives. The law enforcement officers are. So I don't know. It's just to be able to watch in real life or in real time, I guess, is just creepy. It's creepy. And
That was a good idea to do that.
it gives
so
me goosebumps.
smart.
It really gives me goosebumps. And you'll see then too, you know, the clip Man, Tammy didn't even have to score that goddamn polygraph. Look, she could have just walked her butt back out, and if Chris says I heard her say that I passed, Chris, let me break this to you. After seeing the footage lined up the way that it was like that, I'm gonna break this to you right now. Tammy Lee probably didn't even score that goddamn thing right then and there. She was out there in the room next door, wherever their little station was, and she was watching the drone footage in real time as well. And that's it. They found the grave, they found the sheets, they found the garbage bags, and that's when they went back in. And she told them that it's
And,
over.
and
And not
spoiler
because he
alert.
failed, but because they found the body.
Exactly. And also, just I know that most people know this, but this is also something that irritates me that she claims repeatedly or has been claimed repeatedly. I can't even attribute it to KK. So let me just take her out of the equation. Just this claim in general. Even if Tammy had lied to Chris and said that he failed his polygraph and he'd actually passed, not illegal. It's not illegal. First of all, polygraphs aren't even admissible in court, so all they are is an investigative tool to see if the person they're speaking to is lying about one thing or another. It's simply a tool. So a lot of times, detectives will go in and tell somebody you failed the polygraph test when in fact they've passed, and to see their reaction. And they're allowed to do it, which is why you don't talk to the cops without an attorney. If you can't get an attorney right then, all you have to do is ask for one, and the interview stops right then and there.
It's sad that people will have to be reminded of this. Like, I mean, not reminded. People know, but you never know in that situation. Like, a lot of people do decide to talk. I guess you wouldn't know what the right thing to do would be, but I mean, shit. Don't even think about it. All you got to worry about is saying, I want an attorney. 3 little words. That's all you got to say. No matter how much you feel like you want to talk and say this and say that, just shut up and say the 3 little words.
Yeah, again, he didn't have to say anything. He didn't even have to be there. So
No,
true.
He didn't even have to take the dadgum polygraph test. He could have said, look, those things are not even admissible in court. So why, thank you, Mama Bear. Why would you? I mean, he could have just said no. He could have said, I don't want to take one of those. The results wouldn't be accurate anyways. My family is
Why
missing.
Why would you ever take a polygraph exam? If they're not admissible in court, well, look, if they're not admissible in court, then what's the point? Right?
Exactly.
Well, we don't have them in the UK. So it's not a case of being, as soon as somebody comes in to talk to them, they usually sort of say, right, we're investigating the issue with the first person, just obviously it's your wife and this, that, and the other. And they would go down that line. And there's always 2 people in there. We don't interview one-to-one. Well, I've sort of looked into, because of they pass notes to each other. And again, if you've got legal representation, say, well, I don't think my client wants to answer. That's what you have legal representation for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how his head was. I personally think his head wasn't on properly. That he just think he'd planned it, and he got away. He thought he was going to get away with it.
I think he thought that he was smarter than them, and I think that because this is just my I never don't give an honest opinion. This is exactly what I think. I think that because he was so skilled at fooling everybody in his life around him, that he was a quote unquote nice guy. I think he thought that he could fool them too. I think that he thought he could go in there and be accommodating and friendly and helpful, and they would look right past him because he was so good at doing it in his life.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
I do not believe for one hot second that Watts doesn't.
Everybody I've seen that, sort of community icon, seems as if there's sort of a witch hunt for Nicole Kessinger, and I haven't seen that. I've seen we want to know. If they put so much, it should have come out and done an Amber Fry and done an interview, and bang, it was out there. She wouldn't have got the problems that she got. I don't understand, again, unless she's got her own problems that she's dealt with, which have got nothing to do with this case. They're just part of her. But she is a human being. We're all human beings, and we all get into situations that are, beyond our control. But 90% of what she said in those interviews, which she was controlling or her father was controlling, have been proven in black and white not to be true.
Well, right.
So, why would she come forward, as she said, when she didn't really come forward? I don't understand her situation in that. I really don't.
I don't understand why she deleted all of the text. Look, I get it. If you want to delete your nudes, okay, I can understand that. Okay, not every woman wants the entire world or even two detectives to see them wearing nothing but a smile. Look, I get it. That would have made sense to me. If that is all she ever deleted, that would make sense. But she deleted everything, and more to the point, before she deleted everything, she Googled how long does the phone company hold on to it? How can they be retrieved? And then
but even me, the lowest tech person you can ever meet. I didn't even know what troll was. I didn't even know what doxing was. But I do know that there are ways and means of getting information from a cell phone. If you delete stuff, it's still, it's still there. So I don't understand why she went down that road. Unless she had a fit of temper, I'm going to delete all this. I don't want to get involved in this. And that would have been before she spoke to the police.
But the thing is, she Googled it. I would love to know what Google's answer was, because I suspect that Google would have said, yeah, they can retrieve it. Yes, your phone company holds on to it, this, that, and the third, right? So why would you Google something and then blatantly ignore Google's advice?
Yeah.
Let me put up the timeline so we can.
I mean, if we're going to get into this, we might as well get into it.
I've been trying to work on it to make it more like whatever for myself, but girls, I have not been myself lately. It's been a rough one for me, so
yeah, it certainly has.
But thank you for being patient with me and understanding. Well,
oh, I just now noticed that Shadow Lady's avatar is an Ewok. So cute.
Yeah, I need a post-COVID wax. I think that's what I need. I can't wait for the beauty salons and the go and get me nails done. Well, I've actually done my own nails today, but I mean,
look at my avatar. Clearly, I've got some COVID issues going on. I'm a dadgum monkey sucking on a Capri Sun.
Well, I was going to mention that on the island yesterday, but I thought, there's actually, we'll talk about that. I think we're going to need to talk about the island because it's getting too far in there.
Okay, I managed
this
to
island,
video,
the Watts Island, or the other island.
No, the other island, not the Watts Island.
I missed today's live because I overslept.
Yeah,
all the way to.
You want to go back. You want to go back. You see, you've been thrown under the bus.
Well, so it goes. So it goes. I didn't ask to be a leader. In fact, I was nominated and declined.
Yep. That footage is very blurry, or is it my eyes?
Click the 3 dots on the video and change the quality.
That's as far as it goes with me. That's as. I think it's just my old eyes. I'm sorry.
So this is the video. Like, this is in real
Oh,
time,
that's
I
better.
guess. So as he's, sitting there while Tammy's out, quote unquote, scoring his polygraph, they had just launched a drone at 3:27 or whatever the time was on the report from that one agent. So he's sitting here in the room, and it's almost like I don't know, like one of those, yeah, chilling. Thank you, Harry. It's chilling. It's really chilling. I kind of feel bad. I almost kind of want to scream out to the law enforcement people, like, no, don't, like, go away. Don't look, the terror that they were about to discover.
I think one of the only things that as well that got me about was Bombover, or what if his name was Bottom Over, or what. It's actually sort of sat there and stayed there overnight.
Yeah, didn't he sleep in his car?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Fleur, I think is how you say it, has a good point. As fascinating as this case is, do you feel it's appropriate to discuss this case at Easter? I perhaps consider the benefit of both, or benefit of him. That's a very good point. And I'm sorry if this disrespects anyone. I don't personally celebrate Easter, and I don't, observe any of that. So I would consider myself ignorant to that. Like, I didn't even know it was Easter until Jen reminded me 11 billion times. So
I believe it was more like 50, 1100. Let's not exaggerate.
And one.
Yeah. So it's that's not the intention. Yeah, it's a little bit tone deaf of me, I guess, and I apologize for that, but that's not the intention, obviously. And I would hope that the families are not on YouTube on Eastern.
I also think, I'm sorry, but that is a lot of the problem, is that they are on YouTube. I'm not disrespecting their right to be on YouTube, but that you can put filters on your YouTube thing that certain things do not come up. You don't want to see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not gonna stop watching. That's the thing. So, oh, Flynn Brown, it says your devices are not connected. You have to allow the microphone.
Farmyard. You have to allow Farmyard.
Yeah.
Farmyard.
Come and join the Farmyard.
So yeah, try connecting allowing the mic and the camera option. You don't have to have your camera on, but I think
you have to give permission.
Permission, that's the word. Thank you. So, God, this always gets me. Like, this is just.
Yes, I remember when you all went to Colorado, and you guys drove by tanks that were similar to these tanks.
Hold on. Sorry. Stephanie, what do you mean there's no proof anyone died? What do you mean there's no proof anyone died? I don't get that. What do you mean there's no proof? There were 3 autopsies. They recovered 3 bodies, dead bodies. What do you mean there's no proof? Sorry, Caffeine. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. No, I was saying when you went to Colorado and you guys drove by tanks that were similar to the ones at Survey, and I saw how big those tanks were, my heart just dropped. I could not believe how big they were, and to think that those babies were put in those tanks like that really was heartbreaking.
Oh my God, look, this is the part that fucks me up every time. Like, I can imagine the officer who was flying this drone was probably like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean no one died? Like, what is this? That's what I can't, like, I'm losing my, patience slowly with some of these assertions. Like, I get it. Like, early on, we were all speculating and going through the discovery and putting the pieces together,
And there's an awful lot of people out there that just thinks if it's not in a discovery, it didn't happen. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay.
I think people misinterpret what the discovery in this case is. It's only the framework of what the prosecution intends on putting out at trial. But since there was no trial, the discovery is going to be limited. We're not going to see all of the ins and outs and every interview. And keeping in mind also, they never interviewed other suspects, so there's not going to be any of that because he confessed.
Also, Laura, the bodies were found on Wednesday and they were murdered on Monday. So I know it's, nitpicking, but when we say things like, oh, it was found 4 days later, there's a study done actually. I don't know who did the study. I don't know whatever, but there was a study done on how people perceive the atrocities done in history based on how it's presented in terms of like time frame of when it happened. So if you say, like the Holocaust happened a million years ago, like, it's detaching, it's distancing from us, so we can kind of detach from it. We don't have to feel for it because it's far away enough.
But it still affects human beings.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
But if you say like, for the group who read an article where the Holocaust was depicted as happening, just a few decades ago,
Pardon
then
me oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dr.
Oh.
B. I'm sorry. No. I was going to say, I was going to address something
ahead.
happening in chat, but I don't have couth and I'm rude and I interrupted you.
Well,
and I'm
for me,
sorry.
it's that when you make a statement like that, tell the families that who no longer have their loved ones, that no one died. They did. Why would they go along with something like that? That's just heartbreaking. Every time I hear someone say no one died, you have two families that are without loved ones.
This is my interpretation, and I speak for myself. I don't. I only speak from what I've come from. But it's another thing that people are saying. We need to leave the families to grieve. Now, grief isn't an individual thing, and everybody deals with it differently. And believe you me, everybody involved in this, including the police and the authorities, it'll always be there for them. It goes to the back because you have to get on with living, breathing, eating, sleeping, paying bills, whatever. But you can't say to people, leave them to grieve, because it's part and parcel of how they are. And even in the family, every individual will deal with it differently. You can tell by certain family members' behavior.
And you know what? I hear, people like Shine. We have names on WhatsApp, like Shiners, this, that, and the other. So I hear people, not just Shiners, but people in general, like, saying, just let them rest in peace. Just let them rest in peace. And I agree with that, like absolutely let them rest in peace. But those same people then turn around and say and do the most disgusting things about people who are still walking this earth alive and breathing, and they're being harassed, abused, whatever. But if we're so quick to scream, let them rest in peace, why can't we let people rest in life? like
Yeah, I mean, my attitude is
Like,
sort of looking at this case is that there have been quite a few of them, and we want to know the psyche, especially of Chris, because he is. There is an awful lot of information out there, and I do think it's like building bricks. It's not just one thing of why he did what he was. It's a number of things, and they've come together, and
they tell a story.
It's cumulative.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that even if Watts said, you know what? I'm just going to tell it like it is. I'm already in here. It's clear I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, right? And he explained why. None of us would ever understand why. We still wouldn't understand it. There would be no reason or justification. We still don't even understand. Look, even if you take his first confession, right? People are still like, well, why did you do that? Why didn't you just call 911? We will never understand the why. We're not meant to understand the why. You can't rationalize an irrational action. And what happened was irrational.
Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to tell the truth. I really
well,
don't.
No, he's never going to tell the truth. I'm just, putting it out in the universe. And for the people saying, well, there were no, we didn't see any pictures. We don't need to see the pictures.
Why would you want to see?
Unless you yourself are a medical examiner, and none of us need to see those pictures. I have seen the autopsy pictures from the West Memphis 3 case, and I'm telling you, you never want to see those kind of pictures, ever. It never, ever leaves you. Never.
No,
I can close my eyes right now and see those.
Exactly.
What are we going to gain by seeing that? What?
Nothing.
That's the
I lost
thing.
a part of
that's the
myself seeing pictures like that.
Exactly. And you see, Jen, like that's a perfect example. The West Memphis 3 case, that's a case for us morbidly curious true crimers. It's like a case from heaven because you have all this data, all this information. But some of these things really aren't for public, like autopsy photos. And you're right, Jen. When I can close my eyes right now and I can see those little boys in front of my eyes, and there's no reason for that because I saw those pictures and I looked at those pictures and I didn't know what the hell was going on with them other than complete tragedy and disgust with that people were capable of doing something like that. But I can't tell what the hell's what from what. So
I learned nothing from looking at those pictures. Nothing that I didn't already know.
Yeah. And for those people who want those pictures or are pissed for not seeing those pictures, that's just sick because there's no like there are questions about the autopsies, but they're not questions that are how do you Jen translate read my mind.
There are questions about the autopsies, right? Are you talking about the West Memphis 3 or are you talking about
Watts? I'm talking about
Watts. Yeah, there are questions about things that were written down in the autopsies, but nothing that you would be able to see in the photographs are going to answer those questions for you. And something to keep in mind too with autopsy reports, right? So there's like a standard way of doing them, okay? But each pathologist, medical examiner, coroner, etc., has their own technique of doing things. And some people they're human, right? So everybody's different. Some people who perform autopsies are meticulous. Mm-hmm. They note every single everything in a meticulous detail, whereas others are less meticulous. And then there are the Dr. Paretti's of the world who are interested in saving the state ink and paper. And that's all I'll say about that because I don't know how to put that any other way.
Yeah, so
but even still, like I've read the West Memphis 3, I've read the autopsy reports, right? And I've seen the autopsy pictures, and I promise you that seeing those pictures never answered my questions about the reports. Mm-hmm. Ever.
Stephanie, yes. Jean Benet's autopsy photos were they? I do remember seeing a photo of her body, but I don't know if that was from the autopsy or I don't know, but I do like, so it depends on the agency. So every agency, every medical examiner's office is responsible for their own decisions in terms of what they are going to release and what they're not going to release. So if Jean Bonnet's autopsy photos are out there, I mean, Travis Alexander's, the Jodi Arias crime scene photos and his autopsy photos are out there. So Maricopa County medical examiner determined that it was fine to release them. They were actually trial exhibits too, so that's whatever, which they usually are, but they don't typically release them all the time. So it depends. But then you have the Kurt Cobain case, for example, where you have this public conflict or argument between suicide versus murder. And Kurt Cobain's autopsy report was never released, or the photos, and that's suspicious. Like, that's suspicious. Autopsy reports are public records, and if Kurt Cobain's case was so straightforward, like they say, where in the first 5 minutes, they found it to be a suicide, which I don't blame them. Like, he's laying there with a gun on his fucking chest and a hole in his head. Like, what else are you gonna, fine. I don't blame them. But later on, as more information started coming in, and more being raised, that's where it's like, okay, why won't he release the autopsy report? Because, in the Watts case, they said they don't want to release the photos because it's not in public interest, because it's too morbid. But in this case, they just didn't want to release it because they don't think that it's in public interest. They're protecting his privacy and the family's privacy and this da 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 da.
Again, you're giving some information out, but you're leaving these big holes. It's like a jigsaw puzzle with bits missing. So you should either have it all or none.
And then
I don't think they could have gotten away with none, though, because of the Freedom of Information Act. I just choked my own cell phone with my damn headphones. Way to be, Jim. Way to be. Not even sure how I did that.
Oh, I'm sorry, AK or Crystal, aka BGG. I'm sorry, I can't. But I'm so sorry. That's so sad. I just lost my dad too in January, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's
like, I don't know how.
Awful. And I'll say this too. There is something different about seeing children, and
oh God, yeah.
I think that because of this specific case being so talked about on the internet and social media, there are people in this world who would see photos like that and think something completely different. I'm going to leave it at that. And if that was your family member, if that was your nieces, would you want those type of people looking at those photos? And that's, I think, a lot of the reason why they are not out. And I don't think that
there's nothing to be gained by them being out. As
exactly.
I say, from what I went through, and I am a medically trained, and I dealt actually with people at the end of their life. So I've seen quite a few people that are dead. I've never worked with children in that respect. But when it came to seeing even my own father, who died the same year as I lost my grandson, I didn't see him. And I definitely didn't see my grandson. I just couldn't. As you said, it sort of stays in the back of your mind. It's a cultural thing as well. It's the last picture you'll have of that person, whether they're, alive or dead.
It's very cultural. I agree.
I will say this too, from personal experience. When my mom passed away, it was in her home. So immediately there was an autopsy done. So when I went to the funeral home to make the arrangements, because I was in grief, my mind was not right. And all I wanted to do was hold my mom's hand. And I asked to see my mother. Okay. And to be fair, he did bring her out and she was covered. But my ridiculously not in the right state of mind, not thinking rationally, wanting to hold my mom's hand, I had to lift the funeral blanket that was covering her. And although my mom was a histologist and I've seen people in the morgue before, it's something quite different to see your loved one
God, yeah.
with the Y cut. Okay, it's an extremely invasive process that I will never, ever get out of my mind. We
Well,
don't.
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
We just don't need to see those, you guys. We don't need to see the autopsy photos to prove that this happened, that this is real. Now I got up in my feels, and I'm going to mute myself for just a sec.
Yeah, Jen, take your time.
Okay.
And with regards to the sealing of the documents, I read a question earlier about whether or not it was part of the plea deal for Chris. I don't know, him asking to seal the autopsies or the medical, whatever. I think that's a rumor. The autopsy report was sealed during the pretrial phase, obviously, because the investigation was still ongoing. So the judge did issue that it's under seal because there's an investigation ongoing. But once he pled guilty and the discovery was released, then that was also unsealed. And along with the autopsies, the other thing that was supposed to be unsealed were the phone dumps. And we have them in discovery too. So I don't know why people pick and choose to say that the autopsy is actually redacted. And, well, I mean, the photos are redacted, yeah, but that the autopsy is sealed, and this is not the real autopsy. This is some sort of like pretend autopsies that we have. You know, that's just not true. That's just not true. So medical records are not that they're sealed, but they're protected for personal information. So no, you're not going to get medical records from anybody.
Well, no, because they're still covered, whether that person's passed away or not. You know, they're still covered. There's still medical sort of information.
Yeah, so those are going to be sealed anyways. Welcome, Vanessa. We have a new member. Welcome, Vanessa. Thanks for joining. That's exciting. So I'm going to also, I was thinking about that today, to do these lives, like just relaxing, catching up on everything lives, like more often. Because obviously, like, this is therapeutic for me, at least. I don't know about you guys.
Thank you. Trauma and true crime. I appreciate that. It's hard. I mean, and I think that it's just hard, and I appreciate it. I try not to be like vulnerable. It's one of the things I'm working on. I mean, I have all the emotions. They just make me uncomfortable, especially the sad ones. But thank you.
No, it's all part and parcel. We've all got many levels, so that's part of who you are, Jen. I do apologise for background noises because I've got this old dog and I don't know what he's doing, but it's a very strange noise coming out of him. So
that's quite all right. We're okay with that. Stella approves.
Stella likes to get her 2 cents in. I mean, she's the official, unofficial mascot of this channel, and it's, you know, she just wants to be heard. Isn't that what all humans want? To be heard, understood?
True that. Someone's asking how to join. I have no idea. How do people join?
Okay, so when you look at the bottom where you can chat, there'll be a $sign. If you click that, then it will take you to join and the different levels and whatnot. Or if you go to the main page of the YouTube channel, in the About section, it tells you how to join. Tells you what to click.
Well, I just press everything and something will happen, or I'll
Oh,
explode somehow.
you remind me of my mom. She used to call me up and she'd be like, Jen, I can't do this on the computer. And then and I'm telling her what to do, like step by step, and she's just randomly clicking places. And I'd be like, Mom.
See, that's what I do. That's what
Stop
I do.
clicking. Get your hand off the mouse. Just wait.
Oh, Bonnie says, I had an 8-year-old son who passed. He was born sick, and I tended to him every minute for 8 years. Oh, crap. The comment moved. 1 second. For 8 years. And when he died, the final thing I did for him was dress him for his funeral. That's...
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
My son and his wife, my daughter-in-law did that for their son, but I just couldn't.
I insisted on doing my mom's makeup. Adamant about it. Wouldn't let anybody do it. Because she always complimented me on how I did my makeup, which I don't even know how she could compliment me, to be truthful. I hardly ever wear makeup, but she always complimented me when I did it. And that was my last act of love for her, was to do her makeup. So I get it.
Yeah, I think we all do things like that. As I say, grief's and it's your personal thing, isn't it? It's how people deal with it. But I'm fed up with people coming and attacking me and sort of saying, leave the family to grieve. And I don't respond to them now. But the thing is that you never get over losing.
No,
and they're gonna learn or deal with it. And people sort of say time is a great heal. It is, but it's never going to go, unfortunately.
No, and from my own personal experience, it isn't that time healed a wound. There's still a hole there from my mom, and there will always be a hole there. The only thing that's changed is that I now know how to live with the hole.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I'm still getting there.
It's early days for you.
It's very early. I'm 6 years. At March 31st, this was 6 years this year. It took me like 2 years. And for a long time, I had in my old phone a voicemail, and I had downloaded it and saved it. And then when I got a new phone, it was gone. And I was devastated. But it actually might have been a good thing for me, because I was listening to it too much, I think. And I was afraid that if I didn't hear it every day or hear it, frequently, that I would forget what my mom's voice sounded like. But I didn't.
I don't think you can. I mean, it's early for me, but for me, like, my dad passed in January, and he lived overseas, so he was on a different continent. I didn't see him every day. So it's, for me, I find it, sometimes to just, I don't know, like, just pretend like he's just, he's just in Bosnia and I'm just here, and it's just another day, like, he's still there. But then, like, when the thought, like, actually does come through that, he's not there, like, I just get this, like, overwhelming, just paralyzing, like, fear. And
well, it's like a shock, isn't it? You sort of go, it sort of brings you sort of into reality that you don't really want to be there. That's
I feel like so exposed somehow. Like, I don't know, because maybe it's like a cultural thing, and for, like, girls and their dads or whatever, but my dad was always, just a big figure in my life. And
and it's how old he was, and I know. Say, Nat, I'm always there for you. I've told you this.
Thank you.
And you've got to deal with it in your own way. That's the thing. And he is always with you. He's always part of you and all your family. They are always there. But great. So I do apologise for this snoring dog. It's not good.
No, I love it.
We love it. I love it. Look, I'll just tell you this. I'm having to shut myself in my bedroom because I gave my lab a treat today and let him have canned food, which I never do. And he has the worst gas I've ever smelt in my entire life. And the only sanctuary I have is my bedroom. But every time I walk through the living room to go outside, it's like it doesn't hit you in the face. It punches you in the face.
Yeah. So true. So true, Weekend Widow. I was just gonna say that. Like, I don't think I will ever forget his laugh. Like, that's the only thing that sometimes is so vivid, clear, that it almost sounds like he's in the same room. So, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, well, we're lucky in some respects. We do have photographs and films and bits and pieces of them, and things. And I mean, I've got loads of I've got enough albums. I've actually got old videos and stuff like that. Not just phone, because I'm terrified to put them in one place because you're frightened they're just going to go, aren't they? But I mean, to be honest, death is part of life, and no matter how much we sort of wrap it up in things, it's going to happen. I mean, I remember 6 months before my grandson died, is I was lying in bed because I don't sleep very well, having one of those, gosh, what a boring life sort of things. I was doing this, I was doing that. I just retired. I was looking after my elderly parents, and it was getting to the stage where they just were not coping. But they were both in their 90s, so I knew in some respects, that it was around them. I didn't expect it to come take my grandson, and it just, it just sort of absolutely blew me away. And I was the only one there that sort of, right, this had to be done. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to get into them, because my daughter-in-law had a 3-week-old baby, and there was nobody else there that could sort of get on with it. You have to get on with the practical things, and then 6 weeks, 7 weeks down the road, I just absolutely fell to pieces. I just couldn't sort of cope with it. You have to sort of deal with my husband sort of never mentioned his name sort of from that year. Even now, I've only got to hear or see something with his name on it. A film or something that's had his first name, and it just hits you.
Isn't it weird when it hits you, and what it is that hits?
Yeah.
How am I trying to put? What triggers it to hit you? It's the weirdest thing. Like for me, it's not. I don't miss my mom on the holidays. Even though Christmas was like the biggest deal to her, that was the holiday she loved the most. It's the other small things, like having your first hot flash and remembering back to when your mom was going through it, and I gave my mom a rash of shit, and I'd be like, why are all the fans at takeoff speed, Mom? I get it now, but it's those times, you know what I mean? It's not like the obvious times you think that it would be. It's the in between. That's when it hits you, in the in between times.
You know what's happening with me now? I don't know if this is normal. I've lost many people in my family, but this is like the closest death to me. A parent, losing a parent, or God forbid, like a sibling or anything like that. That's so this is like my first experience of truly
close.
Yeah, truly close. And I don't know if this is normal, but I find myself extremely anxious and fearful for the loved ones who are still around. So, it's almost like these unwanted, intrusive thoughts about, oh, well, what's going to happen when Mom dies? Well, what's going to happen when this happens? What's going to happen when Stella goes away? So like my mind wants to go to like the worst place possible and just wallow in this you know, whole of.
Well, your
you know,
emotions go all over the place. They go
They
from highs,
do.
they go to low. You know, it's the same as people.
But it's really, for me, I found that, you know, it's really important to acknowledge that, and to acknowledge that, you know, okay, Natasha, you're letting yourself, you know, go there again. Like, that's not necessary and it's not helpful. Time to reel it back in, you know. But sometimes I don't at least catch myself until I'm already way into it. So, you know, like I said earlier, like, I've been scatterbrained and just doing too many things at once, trying to, you know, run from it, and you just can't. So and the girls, like, that's, I think, one of the most important parts, is to have that support system, where you can feel safe to grieve in your own way. I don't fear that that the girls are gonna judge me. So I can't tell you how helpful that is. And the other thing that was also helpful for me was starting to write again. You know, I became so engulfed in this Watts bullshit that I got away from writing. That was something that I did religiously. It was my way to process what was going on internally, and I stopped. And there's a quote in a song by Karina Round. She says, "Writers that don't write end up talking to themselves." And
Jen's putting her microwave on.
Listen, just because I happen to be streaming does not mean that I am absolved of my household duties, which includes feeding these people in my family. I meant to push the mute button, and then I got so
No excuses. You just didn't press the mute button.
Look, I just didn't, because I was listening to Dr. B and I was enthralled by her story. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm rude. Everybody knows I don't. I tell people all the time, I don't have couth. Okay.
Again,
I'm just the worst. This is why I got booted off the other island. Evidently, I think that's the sentiment.
No, you have to, that's not what it. There was a bit of mutiny going on, but there you go. That's just so you don't turn up. People talk about you, don't they?
It is what it is. I can't be everywhere all the time.
Well, according to certain creators, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be there all the time. My dog's just fallen off the settee, just rolled off the settee. What are you doing?
Well, I just want to say that I feel like there was a little catharsis for me, because this was an extremely like intimate conversation, and we had it on our live. So I want to thank you guys for creating this environment where we can just talk.
Well, you know that I adore you, and dare I say, I even love you.
Oh.
And I don't say that to just everybody. And anybody that knows me will tell you, Jen's the last person to be throwing that L word around unless she means it. You guys have helped me tremendously.
I've got a lot of respect for that. I really, really have. You know,
I'm very reserved that way. And Natasha, you know that I think the world of you, and I think that in a lot of ways, us doing this together has been good for both of us for different reasons, but healing nonetheless. I think that we came into each other's lives when we needed each other the most. And I think we're on our way to fixing each other and ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's about as mushy as I'm prepared to be.
Crystal just made me laugh.
What did she say?
Read what she said in the comments, in the comment section, in the chat.
With who?
Crystal, aka.
Oh, Crystal.
Yeah.
Oh, Crystal.
She said, I'm
having a
62.
bonding session. We're having a bonding session.
Crystal,
Can you
I'm
see it?
62 and my husband is 75. Some mornings I jerk the cover off him and he will jump and I will say, just make sure you're
That's true love right there.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I poke mine in the side with my elbow. That's my way to just make it. If he's still going, but
Yeah, that's my thing. Like I rely on humor. That's my go-to defense mechanism. Some people do denial, some people do all that other stuff, but that's too complicated for me. I like it simple.
Me too.
I've got quite a dark sense of humor, and
Same.
Mine snores, and I will roll him over and blame the cat. I didn't wake you up. What? Why are you waking me up? That's my other thing that I do. What are you waking me up for? I just turn it around.
Food's ready.
It's not. I have to do it for 3 more minutes.
What are you cooking anyway?
I made meatloaf and vinaigrette potatoes, and my family likes microwavable macaroni and cheese. Don't ask me why.
See, I've had my Christmas dinner today, sitting outside. Because
Have you?
I wasn't allowed to get together with. This is the first day we're allowed to meet, but still social distancing. So sitting outside. So yeah, I think this lockdown thing's over. It's really getting to people.
I'm in Florida. We have never been really locked down. I've locked myself down, but I didn't really care for people too much anyway. So it wasn't a super huge, I didn't feel like it was a big sacrifice or I was really missing out. Frankly, it just saved me a lot of bullshit, if you want to know the truth.
Well, it's the masks thing as well, isn't it? You talk to people with masks on and you can't read their faces. So.
No, but you can tell a lot by looking in their eyes.
I've been fake smiling at people, and fake smiling meaning just squinting my eyes when really I just.
Oh, so what are you, a cat now? That's what cats do. That's their form of smiling.
Yeah, that gives you wrinkles, though. That's not
good. It does. No, I don't. Sometimes
Caffeine. I just want to go back to what you were saying, Jen. I want to say that I love you too. I love you girls very, very much. I'm very blessed to have met you, all of you. And Caffeine, we talked about this before, that we feel like sometimes that God or whatever higher power brought us together.
I truly believe that.
Yeah,
we've been through a lot in this year, and it's been a year, and we've been through a lot.
Yeah. So I do.
And
think
I just want to thank everybody for embracing me on this crazy ass island.
Yeah.
Maybe there's mutiny on the other island, but that's cool.
Well, to be honest, when we started our group chat, when we were investigating stuff, and I was wondering, why isn't Jen all over this case? I know that she would be all over this case, but I was like, nah, just let her go. She'll come around. I just know she'll come around. This is right up her alley. And I don't even know when it happened. Was it after Netflix that Jen, you finally decided? Oh, damn it.
No, okay. I think it was right around that same time, either right before it or during it, because for some reason I decided, of all the things to listen to and watch, it was NK's interviews for me. And one day I was just like, we were in quarantine. I'd reached the end of the Netflixes and the end of the Hulus and the end of the Amazon Prime. Cause when you get to that point with those, that they don't even have anything good. All right. So I was like, I was bored and I was like, I'm going to listen to old NK. And that was it for me. I mean, something about that spicy empanada just sucked me right in. I was like,
she tends to do that to people.
This girl is a liar. Why is she lying like that? What's wrong with her?
I also think it's being female and listening to another female, because you think, yeah, right, you know, not that I wouldn't go there, but no, I don't want to say that. I wouldn't be involved with a married man and be married myself, because it happened to me. But I wouldn't get into that situation in a police station and take my dad along for the ride. And also, it was all about her. You know, she couldn't even say Shanann's name or the children's
girl's
name.
name. And that bothered me right
Yeah.
from the moment she started speaking. And I remember we were on a phone call, and I said, she wouldn't even. And I mean, I just went on and read NK for filth for like 10 minutes. They couldn't even shut. It was bad. It's like it all had to come out at one time. And I'm not judging her for being with a married man. Like, okay, it is what it is, right? I'm judging the actions of a woman who seemingly, by her actions, couldn't have given a rat's fat kneecap about finding those girls. Because at the beginning, that's what it was. They were missing. And if it had been us, I would have shown my nudes. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, like, I'm 44, so like 20 years ago, Jen, those nudes would have been fine to see. But I'm 44 now, and gravity hits us all, and that's all I'm going to say. I would give my 44-year-old nudes over if it meant that Shanann and the girls would have been found. If it would have helped in any way, shape, or form, I would totally let Tammy Lee, Bum Over, and Coder see me in nothing but a smile. And she just wasn't that way at all. She was completely opposite. So her Yelp review is poor. She gets no stars.
Yeah, I'll put that under there when I see her, when I meet her, and sort of take her under my wing. I shall give her that information as that
Please
she's got. Yeah.
Please do. Please tell her Jen Lou is not impressed. I would love to interview you, but don't come with your bullshit reindeer games, because Jen will not have it. She will ask you the tough questions and call you out for any bullshit reindeer games.
That's another thing that really got me, was Tammy Lee saying it was stopped. It was, carpet was pulled away from. I understand they got Chris and that and the other, but I just think that she wanted to go forward with stuff as well.
I think she wanted some more resolution than what she ended up with.
Yeah.
I think, although she was probably in some respects relieved that he confessed, I think she was disappointed that he didn't go to trial, because I think she wanted to dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
You think so?
I do.
I thought I was I always thought that she didn't want that, because she knew that she would be under the microscope, like a big microscope.
Okay, would they have taken her to task for the things that she did, like on social media? Absolutely. I mean, and they would have questioned her about it, and it would have been an issue. But I think that she was. I think she would have been willing to risk that if she could have continued to investigate. That's just what I think.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think the highlight of this trial, if it were ever to happen, would be the cross-examination of NK on the witness stand, because this trial would not be able to fly over without her testifying, and I would love to see that cross-examination, because maybe I should have been a lawyer or something, because there's just something.
You're nosy. You're nosy. You upset people and give them a poke. That's what
it's not that I'm nosy. It's that
you're nosy. I'm nosy. We're all nosy. That's why we're sitting here on Sunday at 7:35.
I'm annoyed. I'm
Okay.
annoyed that she had the wherewithal to sit her ass down with 2 FBI agents voluntarily at that. Like, she wasn't even detained. She took her ass over there to do what? To lie to them. The fuck? Like, why? That's what I
Because
want to know.
Why?
because it's human nature. The thing of it is, people realize
Oh,
this,
wow, Lynn. Sorry.
that whoever comes out with the story first is usually the one who's believed. So it was advantageous to NK to get her narrative out there because I think she thought if he confessed to this, there's no telling what else he's going to confess to. He's going to be telling all the things. Let me go ahead and get in there first and feign ignorance and pretend there was some come to Jesus meeting where I confronted him about her being pregnant when whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's why she did it wasn't out of the goodness of her heart. Like Amber Fry, I feel genuinely came forward out of the goodness of her heart.
Caroline, I agree. Enmeshment and too much engagement. I think in this case, we see a lot of enmeshment. And I actually do think that KK is doing a form of that with the Watts family in a very, very unhealthy way. And yeah, that's but God, this chat was amazing. Thank you guys so much. I think it's a good time to stop too. It's been 3.5 hours. We don't want to give Michelle too long of a live to watch tomorrow. So thank you
Yeah, if
guys.
you're listening, Michelle, if you've made it this far, babe, I hope you used 2 times the speed because
X Michelle. We're gonna have to X Michelle.
X Michelle.
Can you go back and edit this and take out my dog snoring? And now he's scratching himself. So
No, because that's integral. That's part of the mood. It's, it all goes.
Yeah,
it's the magic that is live.
Yes. Stella moans with me, groans with
I know
me.
that's funny when she does.
She's the cutest. But yeah,
Don't take out my microwave. I want everybody to know Jen has no couth. Just kidding. I really do. I just sometimes don't pay attention.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys, and I thank the mods. I thank you, Caffeine, Sheila, Jen. Thank you for being up here with me. Guys in chat, I really appreciate everything. I really do. Like this, the chat was so nice and validating, and you guys were so helpful with David as well. I saw a bunch of people, giving him hints, like Sam was telling him, like, David, don't put your information in chat and stuff like that. So that really made me proud. Like I really love our group.
The thing with David, you can obviously tell he's been through a lot, and I'm sorry, but we're not judge and jury to him.
No, he's already been judged and convicted. He did his
well,
time.
and it's also, we're not on that. We're not privy to that, so that's not our business to do that. Like other people. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to judge people. In my head, I might, think like that, but you don't know people. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know his background or how he's got to the position he's in. I wouldn't judge anybody. I'm sorry. I don't. It's not, it's not my business.
Yeah. So David, thanks for jumping on today. And, we wish you the best of luck in your life. Hopefully, you've learned something from this, something good can come out of this. And I hope that you don't find yourself back behind any bars. So that's for me. And yes, that I don't know. Like, I'm just honestly, I'm speechless because the chat just blew my mind tonight. And thank you guys. Just thank you for sharing your stories with us, for being here with us, for listening to us for this long. I
I'm
have no
gonna
words.
go and patch my life jacket and my rubber ring. I was getting off Watts Island, but I don't know. I might sort of stay around. It keeps drawing me back like a, I don't know. As I say,
Like-
it just
Like a
incredibly.
moth to a flame.
Well, I don't know. No, because they get burned, don't they? I don't want to. I don't want to do that. It just gets me. It just.
There's something about this case that sticks with that resonates.
Yeah.
I've only felt like this about one other case, and I'm not as I don't feel as strongly about this case as I do the West Memphis 3 case, but I think it's because it's a little different for me. But anyway, all I can say is the highest compliment I can pay to you, Natasha, is I'll just do my Snape impression and say, always. That's all I can say. That's as mushy as I can be.
Well, thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
mushy too. I don't know how to behave, but
I don't know how to
doing
act
it.
right either, so there you go.
I think I've told you this before. My husband's got a thing for your voice. I think he thinks that you should do voiceovers for chocolate or ice cream or things like that. He just thinks that she's got that sort
She
of
does.
voice, and
She does.
and I said, I'm sorry, but don't you
Well-
don't judge me for who I'm talking to.
Well, Sheila, you can join us. Well, look, I'm gonna start doing the Kurt Cobain thing on tomorrow night. I think I'm gonna start the first one where we're gonna look at the first
Good.
police reports. So here's your ticket off the island. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I have been looking into it, but I've got to pump my rubber ring up first because it's developed a leak and it's not healthy. So.
Oh.
Anyway,
All right.
I have got to go to bed.
Sounds
Good
good.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you so
Thank you
much.
for
And it was
being
so
here.
good to talk to you, Sheila, and good to meet you as well. And if you're ever around when the mutiny is going on, just stick up for me a little bit. All you got to say is she's not so bad after all.
I can be a bit of a fence sitter. It gets a bit sort of sore with where the splinters go, but I am a bit of a fence sitter.
Mm.
So I don't.
Sometimes it's good to be that way, though, although it's not good for the splinters, as it were. It's not helpful to the bum. It's really not.
Okay, I'm going to take my British bum and get into bed. Good night,
I love her
ladies.
accent.
Good night. I do too.
Good night. And I also want to say thank you to Flynn Brown. She's her devices weren't connected, so she's been backstage, but we weren't able to add her. I want to say thank you to her. She's always been so kind, always leaving comments on our videos and just being so supportive. And thank you. Hopefully you'll join us soon. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you,
and
everyone. Good night.
We love you.